Everybody knows that Jason is the better Kelsey. We're sending Patrick back home, nothing you could tell me. About to strangle us a goat, let them know. Swift tears to their eyes, make them cry while we hit the celly. Big Red, you know we love you in this town, but nobody wants to see you win again. Your time's up, this is the end, now it's time for revenge. Thought that you would never see us here again, yeah, now what? 2 years, but it's feeling like it took forever. Saquon better than all your backs put together. We're not in Kansas anymore, Juju's washed up. Hollywood can't score, Travis O, get that man a break. Put in Noah Gray, CJ, GJ, about to introduce him to the floor. AJ, gon' hit you with a tug. You ain't worthy of a game against us. BG coming back for a sack, lay Mahomes on his back, walk off with the dub. No sweat, we can read everything you call. Jalen Carter sack, Zach Vaughn get the ball. Philly versus everybody, us against y'all. The best thing about an empire is when they fall. Kermit stop crying, always looking at the refs. Defense wins chips, and you know we got the best. Tried to hold it in, I had to get it off my chest. Say it with me, E-A-G-L-E-S, go Bert.
All right, everybody, welcome into the Couch Potato Sports Show. It is me, Sonny Clark, the hardest working man in sports radio, as we are here on our Sunday morning tradition that continues now into our 16th season. Yes, happy anniversary to the Couch Potato Sports Show and myself, as well as all the, obviously the MVP, Cuervo, and all the misfits that have joined and who do join here on the show. 16 years. This is just what it is. And the funny thing is I didn't even realize our anniversary was on the Super Bowl Sunday. So that was another thing. I just kind of spaced it out. But of course, that's just kind of what I do. I hate spacing things out. That's, a daily thing for us. But an exciting time here. I say it in one of the extras, actually, when we're going out, the intro, is that who knows how long we're going to do it. I don't know. It just depends on how long this guy wants to keep doing it, too. You know? Okay, I've been on mute, but this is the guy. This is the guy. Will he hang on for, I don't know, will he hang on for 16 years? I don't know. Good morning, Father. Good to see you. Boy, he's got a look on his face.
Yeah, back to work. What do you freaking do?
You're going to work early?
Well, no, I have to take my son home to his mom. Then I have to go back the other way, so it takes time.
Gotcha. Now, that being said, the winner of the bragging rights championship, or not championship, but he's got 2 perfect weeks, which has never been a feat that's done on the Couch Potato Sports Show. Oh, yeah. It is the one and the only, I don't know. It's called longevity. That has been long. It's been longevity, and here's a man that. How long have I known you?
Let's see. Early early 90s,
Well, yeah. When
early
did you get
90s.
married? When did you get married?
With the Vicky or to the other one?
To 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 Vicky. I that one don't
I got
exist as
married to
far as
Vicky
I'm
in
concerned.
1998.
98, and I knew
Yes.
you 4 years before that.
You knew me more than that before that.
Oh wow. So it's been a long time. It's called longevity. It's what we do. I mean, so
Yes.
I got longevity on the bottom. I got a guy that, yeah, this guy out here driving, he's been dedicated to the show. And we obviously appreciate it. Yeah, a lot of people like him more than me, but then again,
That's true.
that's not hard. But anyway, good morning, gentlemen. How are you doing on our 16th year birthday here on the
Happy
couch?
anniversary, dude.
And matter of fact, I think you were on one of the first few
Uh-huh.
shows that we
I
had,
was.
that we did back into the day when they were, well, they're still
Yep.
horrible, but
I
they're
was.
reused back then. But, it is
By the
what it,
way, you see this coffee cup?
yes. What's it say?
Okay. It says Dietz's, which I'm going to tell you, if you're ever in Ohio, in Findlay, Ohio,
Uh-huh.
this is the ice cream place to go to.
Okay. All right.
Best in the Northwest or in the in the Midwest.
Did you
Just
order
say
that online?
you
And have it
can order that
delivered?
online.
I was
Yes,
going to
but
say, when's the last time you've been to
I
Ohio?
actually got this cup when I was at the store about 7 years ago. So
Ah, gotcha. Gotcha. All
yes,
right. 7 years ago.
and I'm going to give you a stat of the day already this morning.
All right.
Listen to this.
Bring it to us.
Nick Fangio is probably one of the best defensive coordinators in the NFL right now.
Yeah, I would say top five.
He is 0-8 against Mahomes.
Well, stop with that. I mean,
Oh,
goodness gracious. So it is. It's Super
Damn, there
Bowl
goes my
Sunday.
pick.
It, it's Super Bowl Sunday as well here as we're celebrating 16 long years. Who knows how long we'll keep it up, but we'll just keep going until I say one day, forget it, I'm not going to do it. So we'll go that route. But it's Super Bowl Sunday. There's been lots of talks. There's been lots of news. Obviously coming out. Lots of. By the way, Dick Duran. Speaking of defensive coordinators, he passes away yesterday. That guy was legendary as well. I mean, just keeping track of unfortunate things that happen to good guys. This, that's a Dick Duran thing. I mean, the years and years that he was a great defensive coordinator. Unfortunately, I don't think he ever got the Super Bowl, which is, one of the sad things, but a good guy. And that being said, out there, he passes away for that. We'll keep our eyes on it. But today's game, the Chiefs right now, they're looking for legendary status, right? They've won how many? 4 of the last 5. They're going for the 3-peat, so they're going for 5 of 6. So looking back in the history, and I'll throw this over to Podfather. Looking back in history of the Super Bowl and what it's all about, we've always talked about the Patriots because how many times have they made it? But man, right now, the Kansas City Chiefs, I mean, obviously you can't say that they surpassed what the Patriots have done, but man, they sure are on their way to making it look easy too, by the way.
Yeah, they are. But then again, the Patriots. I mean, they play in a tougher division. The Chiefs. I mean, the NFL's changed so much since the Patriots are on top. So, I mean, kudos to them. I mean, they're putting their money. They're putting their money where their mouth is. But again, they got that whole thing about history on that. It's not really on their side because teams that have ever gone 3 in a row don't usually go to the Super Bowl. So
yeah. And think about this. We'll go back to crazy stats. There are not too many teams that have lost in the Super Bowl and have been able to make their way back to the Super Bowl. And that's what we're seeing today with the Philadelphia Eagles. And never mind the fact that you got to go back, obviously, to, I think, the Buffalo Bills and a couple of, just a handful, not even a handful, about 2 or 3 that haven't actually been able to do it. But going back to the Buffalo Bills. I mean, back in the 90s, this was when, the Buffalo Bills were running rampant all over the NFL, but unfortunately, we're not able to get that Super Bowl win. The Philadelphia Eagles trying to obviously they have gone 4 times in a row, but this is their second time in 4 years. So, interestingly enough, a lot of comparisons on what we've seen. Now, then you ask yourself the question, can the Eagles get the job done? And there's a lot of things that have been talked about, a lot of numbers that have been going on. And that's what the great thing about going from Super Bowl, going to the conference championship to the Super Bowl. We get 2 weeks to find all these crazy things to talk about, stats and personnel and things of that sort. So, Obi, I mean, you gave us one stat. Starting from the conference championship to where we are now, what is one of the things that have, kind of stuck in your mind in that 2 weeks to get to this game?
I think what is stuck in my mind, and we talk about, the Philadelphia run game and how them. So we, think about that, the playoff games that they played throughout the NFC. And then you think about the AFC Championship game, Bills, Chiefs. The Bills
Great game.
Exposed the Chiefs between the 20s. The Bills just ran roughshod over the Chiefs with James Cook and everything. And the head scratcher seemed like every time that the Bills got inside the 20 in the red zone, James Cook went out of the game. Why? Why would you do that? You're running all over them. Now, I think the Eagles' run game is better than the Bills overall.
It is.
And here's another stat for you. The Philadelphia Eagles offensive line averages 6'6", 330 pounds.
Wow.
That's a big offensive line that is athletic, and they're just they could ground and pound you. And come to fourth quarter, you're beat up, you're tired, you can't stop it. And Saquon's good. He's going to break one today. I know it.
Oh, he's going to break one at least. I think there'll be at least a 50-yard rush. How it impacts the game. See, and that's the difference. Okay, you can have a great runner, and you can have a guy that breaks one out, but is it going to be a game changer? Is it going to be something that has a big impact on the game that makes the game either A, close, B, interesting, or is it just going to be one of those deals where Kansas City is playing prevent defense, trying not to lose, trying to get their third in a row? So it's all about timing and when that would end up happening. I think that's a big difference as far as that is concerned. So that being said, we're going to have people pop in and out. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the Podfather. I'm going to have him give us his analysis on what he thinks that he's going to see today in the Super Bowl and grab up his pick. So Podfather, you got the floor. What do you think about today's game? It, by the way, starts at 5:30 today, our time.
I'll get a chance to watch it, but I'll get an opportunity to hear it because I'll be posted all day. But, it's so hard to really tell you what I think about it because all week long when I turn on the sports station, all I keep hearing is how the Mavericks traded Luka Doncic. So that was hard enough to deal with. But
Yeah.
I get it. But at the same time, that's what it is. What it is. The game's kind of an afterthought, really. But all I keep thinking about is the last game both teams played. Right.
Right.
The Eagles beat the living hell out of the Commanders, and the Chiefs barely got by against the Bills.
Okay.
And I keep weighing that whole thing. It's like I like what Obi said. Bill, the Eagles are gonna. Well, you can just hear Obi just typing away, can't you? No,
Sorry.
no, you're good. No, I think the Eagles are going to beat them up run wise. They'll help out Jalen Hurts. Jalen's going to he's going to use his legs though. You can't sit in the pocket this long in this game. You have to keep moving the ball. You know, not necessarily be a running quarterback, but at least show a different way of moving the ball down the field, other than your arm or other than Saquon. So right now, Jalen Hurts has got that in his pocket.
Yeah.
And it's hard to bet against Mahomes. It's hard to bet against him, but like I said, there's that history part that's kind of not on his side. No team's ever done this 3 years in a row. So I'm going to go Eagles. I'm going to go Eagles on this. And as much as it pains me to do it as a Cowboys fan, I just think it's going to be the Eagles. I mean, again, the Eagles have no history on their side saying they can do it, but then the Chiefs have no history on their side saying they can do it either. So I'm going to go Eagles.
Well, momentum has a lot to do with it and how they do it. And Obi and I, going back the years that I've known Obi, there's certain things that we think about and say. One of our favorite sayings is when you got a team down, you got to put your foot on their throat and call it up. So that's one of the things that needs to happen if the Eagles are going to win this game. But one of the things that I worry about as far as that is concerned and what history says, I throw history completely out the books. Because I don't care about what they did, because today it's today. And history doesn't have really anything to do with the game, except that it's a great thing to talk about. But what is going on in today's game? What's happening today? What happened 2 weeks ago and 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago to get to this game is the only kind of history that I want to look at, because no one gives a rat's fat ass about what happened for the last 5 times that they've been to the Super Bowl. Hey, it's a great topic. It's a great thing to run with, but those games don't matter till as far as today's game is concerned. So since I got that pick from Podfather, let's go to Obi. What's your take up on what you think you're going to see in today's game, and how do you think it'll end up happening? Who do you think gets the win?
I think it's going to come down to, I know this is probably, a lot of people say this, but I think it's going to come down to who has the ball last.
Mm-hmm.
If Kansas City gets the ball last, you just cannot count out Mahomes. Mahomes somehow has this magic, and Travis Kelce and him have this like telepathy thing. Mm-hmm. And Travis Kelce will do anything. He has shown this in the past. He will do anything to win the game.
Yep.
If that's catching the ball, pitching it, catching the ball, running it, and then he sees one of his buddies coming up and he pitches up. It's just ad lib, backstreet football, out in the vacant lot. He's going to do anything to win the game. With that being said, as this is the show.
That's the name of the show.
I just feel like the Eagles are a team that's going to get it done today.
Wow.
They have the players in key positions, and they are the masters of the tush push.
Yeah.
And somehow, some way, I think that play is going to come into big part of this game today.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a 4th and 1? Is it 3rd down and short at the 1 yard line or 2 yard? The tush push by the Eagles I feel like when they run that play, it's a guaranteed 2.5 yards. Guaranteed.
Yeah, pretty much.
So does what's his face, say, do we have 4th down and 2 yards to go on our side of the field at the 40? Do they go for it? Definitely, if they're inside the 20, I think they go for it.
Yes,
because they their coach Sirianni, and they have nothing to lose. This is your last game of the year. do you want to win the game or do you want to play field position?
Absolutely.
I think you want to win this game. You want to win this game. So as what's his face used to say, you play to win the game, right?
What's his face? I can't
Herm
believe
Edwards.
you forgot
Herm
it. I was
Edwards.
going to say, didn't he was at where you work and you forgot his name.
Yes.
Unbelievable. You know?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, sometimes when you look at it, you see things and, you know, but there is a good point right there. But speaking of Herm,
this is what's great about sports. This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game. Hello?
I love that look. And
yes.
Hello.
Yeah, and the head tilt right there kind of.
By the way, Anthony, that ends today, buddy.
I don't see how. You know how you say certain guys get their own. Saquon's going to get his.
Yes,
he's going to get his. I think, and I think it's going to be. And again, it won't be because it's a consistent running game. He's going to have a pop off. I think they'll stop him, but he's going to have a pop off, and he might even have two. And that might be the thing that ends up hurting them in this game. In reality, you can't let Saquon, have more than one pop off. If Saquon pops off in this game, he's gonna have a lot of fun. He's gonna have a lot of things to say about it at the end of this game. But so you got to do it. So you think that they are actually going to be able to get the victory then?
Yeah, I in our little our fantasy league, playoff, I have the Eagles winning 24-20.
24-20. I think I forgot what number. I have to look at it. But yeah, and this is the deal. All right, you can people think of me, okay? And by the way, I got a bone to pick with Podfather. I'm going to get with him in a minute. People seem to think that I am the king of conspiracy. Now, that being said, of course, that's the name of this show. Parts of me wonders, because the biggest issue in this game, as far as Philadelphia is concerned, is one guy, and that's Jalen Hurts. Is he hurt? Is Jalen Hurts hurt? And that's going to be the big question. And parts of me makes me kind of wonder, has that been played big time, and there's really nothing wrong with Jalen Hurts? I mean, say whatever you want about the Philadelphia Eagles during the regular season. In these playoffs, they haven't been what you've seen during the regular season. So it's a little bit. So we're seeing a little bit different Eagles team, but that's also because they got to do what they got to do in order to win a football game based upon the personnel and what they got and their health at the time. I wonder in my mind if that's been played up about his injury. I just really kind of wonder, just to kind of keep, Kansas City off guard. Well, he's hurt. We kind of got a good chance at it and things of that sort. So that's parts of me that's kind of running through my mind. But I think, Podfather, if Jalen Hurts is not 100%, I don't think they win this football game. I mean, I just really don't. I think he needs to be in there, and he's got to be, to where he's not hindered by anything, never mind an injury.
Well, that's where he benefits from having a really good running back right now. So if he is hurt and he needs to run the ball and if he get 4 or 5 yards to carry, that's kind of what you're looking for anyway. So if it's a game where he is dinking ducking his way all the way through the game and letting Saquon get the big yards, he'll still win the game. I mean, that Chiefs defense isn't that great when it comes against going against a run like that. So, whether Jalen's hurt or not, it depends how they play him. It depends if they're going to let him just dink and dunk all day long, or if they're going to let him sit back in the pocket and throw the ball and hope to God someone's going to get open for him. I mean, wait and see what happens. I mean, again, I haven't heard anything more about him being hurt because, like I said, Sports Talk Radio is talking about the Lakers trading with the Mavericks, so I really haven't heard much about that. So
that's about weight, though. I mean,
right.
Well, supposedly about weight. Yeah, supposedly. It's more in the fact they didn't want to pay that another supermax contract that they're going
Well,
to be forced to play if
here's
he
the
stay.
but here's the thing though. Luka's not eligible for the supermax next year. So
No, but it's the year after that. That's when
yeah.
it is. So yeah, and they know that if they have a good season or he has some kind of you know superstar thing that they can't get rid of him and they're gonna have to pay the super max. That comes out. This not just the max, it's the super max.
Well,
So
but also considering he's a part-time player, so
there you go.
Pay that kind of money for a player to only play half the games.
Yeah. And now here we are taking a left turn. We're on we're on the NBA. That's just what we do here. We got ADD and to the max right here. Back to the game though. The Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts, and I'm looking this up right now. There's stupid articles out there. Will Jalen Hurts play? Of course he's going to play, regardless if he's hurt or not. He's got the knee brace. But at one point, though, I saw him take that knee brace off in the NFC Championship game. I don't know if it went back on or not, but I also see it go off. So, interestingly enough, this is an inside game. So, which I am actually glad there's not going to be any weather, components to this game because I want to see a clean game. I don't want to have it a Buffalo Bills game where it's all about snow or, a Pittsburgh Steelers. I want to see a clean game. I think the Super Bowl should always be played in a dome so we can get the max out of a football team, as far as the big game is concerned. So, but just some interest, some other numbers to take a look at, and I was just on it. There it is. The scoring offense for the Kansas City Chiefs is 12th in the NFL. They're scoring 23.2 points a game. The Philadelphia Eagles are 6th with 28.4. All right, so think about this, okay? You're talking about 5 points going from 12th to 6th as far as that's concerned. Now, looking on the other side of it, the scoring defense, the Kansas City Chiefs, they're only giving up 19.4 points a game. But who's number one? The Philadelphia Eagles. And I've been talking about it all year, about that defense. It's been stout. They're number one in the NFL, only giving up 17.9 points a game. I think that defense is going to be a big part of this game. I think we can look at a Super Bowl that is a one-score game. And you know who's really good at one-score games? That's Kansas City Chiefs, Jack. I'm telling you right now. I forgot what it is, but they're undefeated in 1-point games. And that's incredible as it is. Not one loss, not two losses. I mean, come on. Most games come down to one-score games. And they're undefeated when it comes to that way. And but you're right, the Eagles, they need their defense is going to be a big part of this football. Who they get back? Anthony, who they get back? I missed them. Well, let us know, Anthony, who's coming back for the Philadelphia Eagles. I've been kind of busy, with coffee and work. So I've been kind of hearing bits and pieces about things, but not being able to dive into, kind of like what I like to do when I look at the Super Bowl game. But so let us know who that is. So defense, big part of this game there, Obi?
Yes, I think so. And I'm not saying that it's going to be a low-scoring game. It's going to be a defense. What defense makes the play? Makes the play to, a big turnover, a big stop. I just feel like, it's going to be mid-20s, maybe low 30s scores. It's not like it's going to be a defensive battle like 13-10, 14-12, something like that, or 18-16. It's not going to be that. These two teams are too good to be held that low. It's going to come down to which defensive team makes the play.
That is a big
Brandon
get back.
Graham is back today.
That's a big get back for the Philadelphia Eagles. It really is.
It's going to be late in the game.
Yeah.
Who's going to be able to make that stop? Who's going to be able to get a turnover? Is it going to be a scoop and score? Is it going to be a pick six? What's it going to be? Is it going to be a blocked field goal? We don't know.
Yep.
It's just whatever team makes that play. That's what's going to have to come down to.
Well, he is in the green room. A man that I love on the show, Cuervo, fashionably late as he always is, but this guy's here.
You dig it, sucker.
Take over the show, but just bring common sense and calmness to the show. It is the one, the only, greatest smile on the internet. It's Bryce in Brooklyn, and it's just Brooklyn to me. How you doing? Good morning, Brooklyn. How you doing?
Good morning, everyone. Super Bowl Sunday. You know I had to jump on to see the group of misfits today. How is everybody?
Okay, number one, I'm not a misfit. Number one, I'm not a misfit. And number two, I thought I was the one that brought the common sense to this show.
Oh, no. Yeah, Bryce was bringing it along before you came back to the show.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Wear it with pride. Couch potato show misfit. That's good. But 16 years. And Bryce, how long have you been coming on the show? You've been coming on for at least 10.
No, has it been? No,
that's a big number, isn't it?
When did I? Yeah, when did I first call into Blog Talk Radio?
Well, we've been on this platform for 5 years.
So it's been probably like 7. It's been like 7 years. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I can't believe that time is going so fast.
By the way, Blog Talk Radio is no more. Just to let you know, if you go take a look at it, I just ran over there to see if I could get thing. I have to go to Apple to get it, my Apple stream. So I had to pull some things down. But Blog Talk Radio is no more. They got another company. I'm not sure if they took it over or what, but Blog Talk Radio no more. Oh, big bad audio on that, by the way. That was the worst audio ever, but it was fun. It was a kick in the pants. But
you guys were great. Yeah, I called in, and it was you and Cueva. We started talking football, and I was like, "Oh, these guys are great to talk to." Now
we're just fun. We don't know jack squat. We don't know jack squat, and here we are coming and doing what we do. 16 years today. That, by the way, 16 years doing this show. I don't know how much longer it'll go on. Maybe it'll go until I just, finally kick the bucket. Who knows? I might be 50-year-old, doing the show. I don't know. We'll find out. But
it depends on how coffee sales go.
Yeah. But Bryce is definitely upgrading the show, and has created some of the most greatest moments on our show.
What?
That's one of them, and then the looks that we get, from Bryce in Brooklyn, I love that was one of my favorites, by the way. But I'm glad that you've been able. I'm glad you've been able to make it on the show. I'm glad that you're part of the show. Glad that you find that you want to come on the show, which is always a good thing. And I appreciate it. I
appreciate that, Sonny. And I always listen, talking sports with you guys. Always listen. It's always an adventure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. Now, that being said, of course, that's the name of this show. Okay. I don't know if you got the opportunity to see the Tom McManus interview.
I watched some of it. Tom was very passionate about his Jaguars.
Oh man, by the way, day by day that goes by, I'm really hating this coach pick. And by the way, yes, it's the bad Duval. By the way, this is how you do it.
Duval.
Oh. Pathetic.
Are you gonna let that?
I'm not gonna lie. I think he's my favorite now.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny? It'll be. You say this, Sonny. This guy gets off to a 7-0 start, and then you'll get a case of the Obies with the Cardinals. Hate Kyler, hate everyone until Marvin Harrison Jr. catches 80 passes in 5 games. And
I understand why he's not a Cardinal fan. I completely understand. I lived in that town for 24 years. I understand. I was there when they got there, and
you'll change.
Bryce, don't you dare say that I will ever become a Cardinals fan.
Yeah,
now, it's nice to have him there, but I don't think he's necessary.
Cardinal gear all over your house.
Bull crap.
Do you have any Cardinal gear?
I do not.
Oh, okay. All right. So as long as you don't, I believe it or not, I got Jet shirt.
And I haven't seen him in a while. Let's congratulate Obi on the national championship. Listen, I tell you what, they needed that because when that Michigan game happened, I thought he was gone. I'm like, it's over. He's going to be fired. He's going to be fired.
We got an extension. He signed an extension.
He buckled in and said,
an extension?
We're going to go get a national championship. And they did. And I mean, and listen, and they put it together. They clearly were the best team. And I got to give Ohio State all the credit. They showed a lot of fortitude coming back from that horrific loss to go win a title.
Yeah, we've lost both coordinators.
Of course.
We got a new OC in town. That's Brian Hartline. There's a shocker. Brian Hartline. Come on. Who?
He used to be a wide receiver somewhere, right?
He's from Ohio State.
Yeah, he's from Ohio State.
He's literally.
Why would I know who? I mean,
Brian Hartline has made Ohio State wide receiver U.
Yeah,
gotcha. All right.
And
he used to be an NFL wide receiver too, right?
Yes, he was a Dolphins.
Yeah.
He in the past.
I know, it is a Dolphins.
In the past, it's been talked about him becoming the OC in years past, and always the word in Columbus was he wasn't ready. He just needs a little bit more grooming and understanding of the whole process. And then they talked about when Ryan Day was under fire, well let's have Brian Hartline become head coach. He's not there. He's not ready yet. He's not there to take over.
Like the Jacksonville Jaguar coach?
Duval.
He's not ready.
He's not ready.
That alone tells you he's not ready. That just scares me. But back to it really quick, Bryce. What was your? I mean, I don't know how much of the interview that you saw from Tom McManus. What was your takeaway from that, especially the head coaching situation with the Jaguars? The question that you had regarding that situation.
Look, I didn't watch the whole interview. The parts that I did watch, I really agree with Tom McManus when he talks about the trenches and the defensive line and Jacksonville getting kind of pushed around. I think that ultimately kind of sets bad culture, because Jacksonville, and Tom knows this, Jacksonville has really been built over the years off of playing a certain style of defense.
Absolutely.
They're going to really get after you, make it tough on you, playing a lot of the 4-3 stuff. They got to get back to that in the front seven, and I agree with Tom. About that. Also, I think he talked about the linebackers as well, and I can't remember the last time the Jacksonville Jaguars had a real all-pro stud in the middle that you just couldn't bully. He was going to dictate to your offensive line. So I think they need to get back to that, and that's probably not going to be solved in a year.
No.
But I think this new regime has to commit to building in the trenches so they can play the way that Jacksonville has been known to play, which is tough-minded football. I mean, that's one of the few teams that have built the type of reputation and culture that was built on playing fast, playing very physical. That's how they were able to have early success in the AFC Central. So let's see if they can defensively get back to that.
Yeah, and think about this. They bring in the offensive guy, and they have defensive woes, and I don't know which is worse. But I'll tell you right now, if they don't get the personnel out on the football field, especially defensively, this is going to be a long 2025 year. So if you don't get it in the draft, which Tom says, let's get a defensive lineman. We need that defensive lineman. If they don't get that defensive lineman, the defense. What it's going to look like?
Going to amount to jack squat.
And that's going to be a problem. And it doesn't matter how good. See, and here's the thing. I think Trevor is a good quarterback, but Trevor is not a good quarterback that can come back. He's got to have some kind of success early on in a football game, because I have not seen him come back into a game where it's on his shoulders, Bryce. On his shoulders on a regular basis. There are not too many times where he's brought his team back. And that worries me. But you have to have a defense. You have to have a defense. And if that's all they're doing, the reason why they can't, and by the way, I agree with you, Anthony, that, it's almost like the Dallas Cowboys, the owner is a problem. And I don't know what the owner's philosophy of grabbing Cohen compared to who was out there and who's still out there. Brian Flores, Spagnolia, these guys that could be running this football team, like guys that have had success. You say whatever you want about Brian Flores. He had success. Okay, he's still having success. He's saying that, he's going to stay in Minnesota as a defensive coordinator. And he's the one that's been keeping them in games. They didn't lose those games in Minnesota, the last few weeks of the season, because of defense. They lost it because Sam Darnold showed up finally. I mean, he woke up from his, nice little dream of a
season.
Career, and then went back to who he is. So Jacksonville got a lot of problems, and they've got to work those. They got to work through some things. Now, if anybody expects it to happen after 1 year, even the biggest fans in the world, that part's not going to happen. Now, the good thing about it, though, Bryce, is that they're in a division where you don't know what you're going to get. You got Indianapolis with their quarterback situation that's going on, and that's horrible. I don't know. I like Houston, but there's a lot of things that Houston has. Houston's more of a consistency problem in reality when you think about it. And then the Tennessee Titans are a lost cause right now. So they got to figure out what they're going to do with their new head, with their new coaching staff and things of that sort. The AFC South, though, best division for them to be in to somewhat be successful and win some football games.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Trevor Lawrence have comeback moments, but you're right. In terms of regular basis, maybe not as much, but he's had some big moments. I mean, he's just got all of the tools you want. Look, it would seem to me after all this time, what Tom McManus said really, really runs true, which is I think being a 5-wide guy, meaning a guy that can just take over a game. I do believe it's in Trevor Lawrence, but I think they've got to go back to basics like they did with Josh Allen and go back to, okay, let's build the run game. Let's, ATN, bring in another back, build the line. Let's really build the run game so we can work off of it. Give this guy a little bit more stability, and he will ultimately grow into being a 5-wide guy because I think he's got all of the tools to do that. And I think he wants it. I think he sees the field. You just have to give him an offense, I think that's based more in that power scheme so he can blossom into that and become that. Sonny, now that we've got everyone here, can we, if we already haven't, and I came a little late, so can we get into this Myles Garrett situation? Because
we have not talked about that yet.
Oh, we got to talk about this. now that we've got the number one Browns fan in the world, the guy level-headed, the most reasonable Browns fan you've ever seen, I want to hear what the Podfather, Sonny, what you have to say about OD's Browns and this Myles Garrett situation, because I got some things to say about this. Go ahead. I'd like to talk about it if we can.
So Obi, what's going on there? How are you feeling this morning about the idea of your best player not going to be out on the football field probably next? I'm sorry. You can't feel too good about it.
Listen, I don't feel good about it. I came to the resolution myself, probably 3 or 4 or 5 games left in the season, that I really was I resonated myself that Myles Garrett was not going to be part of the team next year.
Okay.
Here's the thing. Myles Garrett wants to go to a winning program that gives him the best chance to win the Super Bowl, right?
Dallas.
Here's the funny thing is when this first came out, there was, and you need to understand. Okay, I live in Arizona. Oh my God, the Cardinal pages were just going nuts. Cardinal fans, the news was even talking about, hey, Myles Garrett is coming to Arizona. Okay, well, first of all, he wants to go to a winning program. That's not a winning program.
What?
And the second thing is whatever team he goes to, if the Cleveland Browns are smart, which some wonder if they are, organization, they're going to want the max for Myles Garrett.
Yes, they are.
And if he came to the Cardinals would have to probably give up either Marvin Harrison, either Kyler Murray. Let him go, please. Just let him go. Let him go and whatever. But knowing how the Browns are and the Browns organization and what we have become, wherever Myles Garrett goes, we're going to somehow screw it up. We are not going to get what I feel we would be owed for Myles Garrett. That's where I feel we sit. Now, I want to hear what you guys have to say.
I want to hear what the Podfather has to say. I want to hear what the
Podfather.
Well, he's not going to go to Dallas. He wants to go to a winning team. So that rules that out. No, I mean, I look for a team like the 49ers to sit there and retrench their defense. Use a player like him. I don't see him stay in the AFC. I mean, I don't think if they're going to trade him, they'll trade him to an NFC team. So that eliminates at least 16 of your teams right there. So, I mean, can you picture him with the Commanders with that defense?
Oh, good God!
Or him with the Eagles?
No, I don't see him go to the Eagles. I see him. He doesn't fit this program.
Why wouldn't he go to the Eagles?
I don't know. I don't feel like that he would
Intuition.
go.
You just really don't want that to happen, do you?
You don't want him in there.
I feel like that the team that would benefit the most of Myles Garrett's services, but they won't because Myles Garrett is not this type of players that this coach wants, and that's the Detroit Lions. Can you imagine having Hutchinson on one side and Garrett on the other? Good God. But Myles Garrett is not a type of player that I feel like that Dan Campbell wants.
Is that because Dan Campbell can't get through a guy like him, or because really you think looking at the coaching styles, obviously from Cleveland to going up there, the coaching styles. By the way, your coach, I feel so sorry for him. I hope he gets a job as soon as he takes one step out of the friggin' building there, because he deserves more than what they've been able to do. But parts of me thinks that he's a wuss because he just won't stand up for what he needs to. I'm worried about my job. Guy's got millions of dollars. He's going to get a job anywhere else. He should have benched that sorry ass a long time ago and said, listen, I'm the coach of this football team. You want to fire me? Fire me then. When you got that much money, you should be able to make those statements and do that, but he didn't. So parts of me likes him because he was stuck in a situation, but then again, he let himself get stuck in that situation, so he has no stone, so he probably deserves to be fired. All being said, of course, that's the name of the show. I thought of actually three teams that I think one would have been up there in Detroit, but I agree. I don't think the coaching style and he needs to go to a team where I think that he can be who he is. One is San Francisco. That was one that I thought of. But the team that I think would turn the franchise around to get it better and make it AFC, NFC championship, conference championship, AFC conference championship power is I want to say San Diego because I always say so, but it's the Los. I think the Chargers could use him huge because it will help keep the scoring down and give Herbert an opportunity to win football games. So if I was, and by the way, he's got a Super Bowl coach. He's been in the Super Bowl.
Oh, here we go. Oh, I know why we're getting. Okay, I know why we're getting the head shake. Go ahead. I can't wait to hear this.
No, it's not. It's not about Harbaugh. It's not about Harbaugh. I just feel like the Chargers would have to give up too much. Herbert could be part of that conversation of the trade.
Oh, they're not going to do that because Herbert is the guy that Jim Harbaugh is there for. Outside of the fact that he wanted the Bears job, he was going to go to the Bears. But out of what Harbaugh's second choice is a guy that he can mold and make to who he was. That's why he went to. By the way, he was rumored around for 6 other jobs. Why did he go to San Diego or to the Chargers? Because he has the opportunity to mold a quarterback that has got the quote unquote potential to be the next big thing. And that's the reason why he went there compared to the other 4 or 5 teams that were out there looking for him outside of the Chicago Bears.
And how did Herbert do in his playoff game this year? Oh, wait, did he show up? I said, how did Herbert play in his was he there?
I can't control whether or not that ended up happening and what's going on. I'm just telling you what I think the thinking is over there. But yes.
Okay, so you said
he did have a better season than he's had in since he's been in the season. It was his best season, by the way. And who was that? Jim Harbaugh was the one that's molding it, and he's going to correct the mistakes that he made during that time. But how about you? Brooklyn. What about you having that guy?
Sonny, what were the other 2 teams? Garrett? What were the other 2 teams that you thought Garrett would go to?
Oh, I thought the
Chargers 49ers.
Chargers 49ers, and I thought but won't work would be the Detroit Lions.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, Bryce,
I was right there with you.
You're on the floor. Here's the mic.
So
he'd love to have a Myles Garrett.
Yes, he would.
So let me apologize. I assumed where Obi was going when I saw his head shake. I'm like, here we go. Here comes the Ohio State guy coming out. but no, he's again the most reasonable Browns fan in the country. So I get that. So a couple things. One, no, they're not going to get fair market or equal value for Myles Garrett.
No.
And they shouldn't.
They'll screw it up.
And they shouldn't care.
Yep.
Let me tell you why they shouldn't care. Because Myles Garrett, look, I don't root for Myles Garrett. It's the Browns and all that. Myles Garrett is a great player who has given everything to that organization, whether you like him or not. Mm-hmm. And he has been there, and he has become a great defensive player. He's balled out. He's done as much as he can. It is time for the Browns organization, along with that Deshaun Watson decision we talked about, to show leadership to the team and the fan base and eat it. You had all of these years to build a team around this guy. Your owner, we talk about bad owners, your owner, one of the worst in football, has made terrible decisions, and he needs to show leadership and eat those decisions. You jettison Deshaun Watson, which they still refuse to just come out and do. And you say, we'll take the best deal we can. We're going to do everything we can to do right by Myles Garrett and move on, because he's given you everything. He doesn't want to be there anymore. You have failed him as a player, not building the team around him that can be consistent. He wants to go to a contender. If anyone has earned the right to be treated in a way where you try to do what's best for the player, so you can show the other players, we are an organization that is committed to winning and our players, especially if you ball out. You cannot, if you're the Browns, you cannot make this messy. You can't do it. You may be within your right to do it, but you cannot do it, because what is that saying to the other players and free agents that ultimately you want to attract to your organization if you want to start winning? Myles Garrett has put his time in. He don't want to be there anymore. So I don't care whether it's the Chargers. I don't care whether it's, hey, listen, even the Cowboys. I feel he would do well in that system. So if it's the Cowboys, whatever team that you can work it out with to do a deal, and you work with Myles Garrett, you try to get the best deal you can, you negotiate it, but ultimately you just decide, you're not going to get fair value because he's come out and said, I want traded, and that never puts you in a powered position when you're negotiating. But so what? Because you know what? You earned this, Browns. And that's showing leadership. The Browns need to show leadership. They need to show that someone can step up and make tough decisions that are best for the organization and the football team, and not decisions based on I'm the owner and I just make the call. Someone needs to be the adult in the room, and you would think hopefully Haslam can learn that, but he's not a good owner. But that's what needs to happen. It needs to be about, we're going to do right by you as a player. That's it. Even though you're going to have to eat it and start over in that sense, you need to, and show better leadership, because that's going to reverberate, I believe, to the other players and the fans that could see, hey, it sucked and we sucked, but we're trying to do the right thing and make the right decision.
And bring in
Go
Kyler
back to
Murray.
what I said.
And bring in Kyler Murray.
But they're going to screw it up.
How much? Yeah, how much do you suck it up? That's that's a good question. I don't know.
You eat it. He doesn't, because let me tell you something. The alternative is you try to force this guy to play for you, and if I'm Myles Garrett, which I believe he could be built like this, he won't show up. I'll sit out a year. Now that's the worst case scenario.
Yep.
Now you look bad. You're not getting the player. He's committed to sitting out because he saved his money and he's good. He'll go do deals and work out, get a sponsorship, still lose money, but make up some of it, and your organization still looks terrible.
Yep.
You can't do it. You got to work something out with his agent. Maybe you a buyout. Maybe something happens. You got to figure it out. You got to do right by this player in particular. You just have to.
Myles Garrett. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say there's one team that I just thought about, though, that I would think be very interested in this. Be Tampa Bay.
That's another one.
I mean, again, to be a different conference, which I think if he goes anywhere, it'll be a different conference.
I agree.
But and again, it'll be away from what he's normally used to. So clearly, Tampa Bay is right over from Cleveland. So, and plus, when a team that's, I mean, they're not a winning team, they're not a losing team either. So they're kind of that middle of the road. Could be, could not be, whatever. But they could be a player or two away from being that next thing. And they probably got a lot of draft capital to get rid of too. So I can see that being a thing.
I mean, look, to that point, Podfather, if you're the Browns and you want to say, Myles, we're going to try to do everything we can. The only thing we're drawing the line on is we're not going to trade you to the AFC. We're going to trade you from a competitive standpoint. We're going to trade you to the NFC. Okay, you work it out. You try to toe the line there. But it's the same thing what Anthony's saying with Max Crosby. That's another one. These two players in particular, if you have any chance as a Raiders and Browns to want to right this ship, you better do right by those players. They need to not only do right by those two guys specifically, because they need to go and behind closed doors, they need to say, look, it didn't work, but these guys stepped up and did everything they could for me. They were class act. They were professional. People need to hear that. So when you want to get other free agents to come play for you, that they remember that. You screw with these guys, and you are further putting yourself behind the 8 ball to become a super competitive team that actually can win and contend. You got to do right by certain guys because they've earned that status. Crosby, with the Raiders specifically, he's been loyal, and Myles Garrett, they have to do right by this guy. You cannot have him going away chirping about. Not only did we lose, let me tell you how much jerks these guys were to me after I gave everything. The Browns are not in a position to have this particular player do that. That will continue to set the franchise back.
Interestingly enough, I was actually thinking, why is that? And parts of me, it finally dawned on me just when what you were talking about, Bryce. If they don't do good by this guy, forget the fact that he's doing good by the guy or whatever, slap him on the ass, make him feel good kind of shit. What this boils down to is that they got so much money sunk into everything else. They need guys to come to this football team that are not going to take the big money, but they still need to have some kind of talent that they can do. So I get that. That just literally just popped in my head. I don't know if you've seen the bump come from the top of my head, but that's what happened because parts of me going, you got Myles Garrett, get what you can get for him, regardless if he's happy. Obviously, that is not a priority for the ownership of this football team, is having someone feel happy. Max Crosby, Anthony brings up a good one. If you can't get Myles Garrett, which I think that I think I'd rather have a Max or a Garrett than Max Crosby. But man, you talk about a 1A. You talk about a guy that's balls to the wall. You talk about a guy that's kind of old school in reality, which is basically what the Lions are in reality. Look at that coaching staff. That's not new school. That's old school, and old school's working with a little hint of new school inside of it. I've never seen a guy that can show so much emotion as a coach and get those guys to want to play for that guy. I mean, it's so. And Max Crosby, he loves his coaches. I mean, you can tell he does. And I think that would be a great fit up there, Anthony. Now, that being said, not knowing how much longer we have Brooklyn in the house, what's your take up on today's game and what you see and who you think is going to win and why?
Ooh. I think it's going to be a fun game to watch. Part 2, the first time these two teams played, I believe the Chiefs were even more talented than they are right now. And it was a close game. I think there's so much star power in this game. Particularly when you look at the defensive back. Well, we won't say defensive back. When you look at the quarterback, and then when you look at just the way they match up, it's contrast of the styles are actually a little similar, with Kansas City being able to win in the passing game a little bit more consistently because of the quarterback. But both of these teams want to play physical. They want to turn their defense loose on you. But I think overall, the Eagles are they're just so talented. I think they are a better team than the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City, and I always talk about this, Kansas City has the better coach, and the better quarterback. And when you've got that, you will always have a chance to stay in it. The matchup that I'm looking forward to watching are the two inside guards for the Eagles versus Chris Jones. Here's what I think the key to winning is. The reason why the Eagles, to me, despite all their talent, are so good, because the front office, we talk about the Browns, the opposite are the Eagles. That's a tremendous front office. I mean, what they have established with that team in the draft, they're now what the Steelers kind of want to be, a physical team that can just pound you. They have made their team Sirianni-proof. It don't matter how goofy Sirianni is. It's hard to mess up zone read. We're going to give the dive to Barkley. If you can't stop it, it's over. opens up the whole offense. That's all they have to do. When it comes down to it, I'm going to give the dive play to Barkley, and he's going to make magic. And they got 2 guards that can literally push anybody off the ball. You almost need – remember when Minnesota had those 2 defensive tackles that were just mammoth? I can't remember their names.
I can't remember. I know, but I know what you're talking about.
You almost need that situation on defense. And this is where I think the Chiefs, who have been good on defense, could be vulnerable. The matchup I'm looking for is not the matchup with Kelsey and all that, even though it's there. I want to know, are the Chiefs going to put Chris Jones in the middle, not move him around like Myles Garrett moves around? Keep him in the middle, and can they win enough of those matchups against those guards in that center to stop the dive, to put the ball in the hands of Jalen Hurts? I want to see that, because if they can't, then they have to commit bodies to the middle of the field, or they're going to have to, or Chris Jones can't eat up enough space, then they're going to move the football. They're going to run the ball. They're going to push Saquon. They're going to push them off the ball. If I'm the Chiefs, I'm putting Jones in the middle. I'm saying, but you got to be a Hall of Famer today. You got to press these guards. You can't let them get up on our linebackers and make plays, because we got to stop this run game. We can't let them run the football. Jalen Hurts has to throw for 400 yards. And if he throws for 400 yards, I'll do what Hines Ward said. I'll take my hat off and hand it to him. That's what he said. But I'm going to make them do that. That's the matchup that I think if you can get those 2 guards, put them in bad situations where they're not just pushing you off the ball, you have a chance against the Eagles. You can pressure them, maybe you could sack them. But if you can't do that, it's going to be over. On the opposite side, the Eagles can't let Mahomes get the 3rd and short. You gotta sack him on 2nd down. You got to make them play 3rd and long as much as you can, and maybe the magic can run out. Because if he's got 3rd and short, they're too good schematically. They're too good with their personnel. They got a Hall of Fame tight end. They're just gonna matriculate. They're gonna make plays. The quarterback's gonna get hot, and then it's gonna be Mahomes time. And we all see how that goes. So overall, I think it's gonna be a tough game. But I think it ends for the Chiefs today. I know picking against Andy Reid and the Mahomes is dangerous, but the Eagles are so talented. And with the guards and the offensive line, I mean, they just wear you down. They got Barkley, who's an all-world player. I'm going to go with the Eagles to win the Super Bowl.
I want them to win. I really do. I mean, and more on the fact that it just keeps – either way, Kansas City wins, you got a great story. If the Eagles win, you got a great story. There's no bad – well, depending if you hate the Chiefs, I'm hearing people are not interested at all in reality of watching the game because they don't want to see. But how do you not want to see history if they are able to three-peat? I mean, how do you not want to see that? I mean, I guess I understand hate enough because I hate the Dallas Cowboys and I hated to see how great they are, but this is different. But, more in the fact that, the game itself has got the potential to be really good and one-score game. Thinking how the Chiefs are undefeated in one-score games, that they're undefeated going into one-score game at the end of the game. They're undefeated. They come back and win football games. How's that defense for the Eagles going to actually change that? What are the Eagles going to do to stop that stat from bitch slapping them all over the face? And that's going to be there. So, I like the idea. By the way, I'm sorry, since we were talking this thing, I found this and I wanted to bring this in here because this, Obi is a guy that is unfortunately stuck as a Cleveland Brown fan.
Good God.
This is what happened in this thing.
That's disgusting.
This is what happened.
Oh my Lord.
I can't even
Lord.
I cannot even
I'm sick to my stomach right now. I just want to go vomit.
So,
God.
I mean, and that whole thing. Now, what I did like, about the whole thing is they got Deshaun Watson. I guess if you thought that he was the second coming, which I never
I
thought.
hated this trade. I hated it from day one.
But you did bring Jerry Jeudy into
Oh,
it. Now,
please, come
listen,
on.
Hold on. I'm not saying Jerry Jeudy is somebody, but at least you kind of got something with him, okay? As far as that is concerned, you had someone outside of it. So I never thought it was a good trade, but I was like, if you're stuck with someone, at least you got. I like Jeudy. I always liked Jeudy. I always thought that if he had the right quarterback, he could be something big. But
he's a good player.
It's not. Yeah,
Bryce, I've been saying this for weeks. I have been saying this for weeks about the Deshaun Watson scenario. Now I agree with you. We're now going to put Myles Garrett in this conversation as well.
Yes.
I've been saying this for weeks that the Browns needed to just let Deshaun Watson go, get rid of this, start to show the fan base that, okay, we're willing to swallow this pill, which is very, very bitter, and it's going to hurt us for many years. But the longer that they stretch this out, the longer this goes. And now we got the Myles Garrett situation. The longer we stretch this out, the longer this goes. Just do it. For probably the most of the season, I've been a Cleveland Brown fan that wanted to walk into the front office of the Cleveland Brown organization, walk into Haslam's office, walk up to him and bitch slap him in the face and say, dude, do this. It's time. It's time to just say, we're done.
We're done.
We're done with this. We need to show the fans that we're willing to say, okay, yeah, we screwed up.
Yeah.
And for him just to be.
But that's the problem. He doesn't have it in him in order to admit he did screw up.
He's bullheaded. He's pride. He's ego. He's all of these things that.
Fully agree.
It doesn't make those things don't make you a good owner.
Yeah.
A good owner knows when he's made a mistake and is willing to change. A good owner is to have people underneath him that could do better than he does, but they're underneath him. That's what makes a good boss. Make you a good boss is you're always hiring people that can do your job and probably do it better, but you're teaching them. Haslam doesn't have that. And whatever he's done before to make him successful, okay, maybe it's worked. And here's another organization, completely not football or not football oriented, another organization that has the same problem, and that's the Phoenix Suns. Well, the Phoenix Suns organization and owner don't have a clue.
Yeah, I think.
And the Cardinals, the Suns. Do it? And finally, the Diamondbacks, I think, finally have started to move away from that. But I still Ken Kendrick, he's creepy kind of guy. But I think he gets it. But Haslam, the Raiders owner Davis, these guys, they just need to get a clue and say, you know what?
You can throw Jerry in the mix all you want.
Jerry, dude, I'm sorry. Jerry is in a whole league of himself. Jerry Jones is going to die being the Cowboys owner. And then it's going to go to his boy, who is more weird than he is.
He's going to Al Davis this thing the way Al Davis did it back in the day. So, yeah. And Succession is right there with Stephen Jones taking it over. So
I wanted before Bryce gets away, I saw something that popped up on my Facebook feed this week, and I sat there and I thought about it. So next year, the 2026 Hall of Fame class, there's two players, and I'm going to name the player, and I'm going to go around. You're going to give me yes or no. And here's the question. Is this player a first-time ballot Hall of Famer? Let's start with the easy one, I think. Larry Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Sonny.
Without question.
Podfather.
Definitely.
Bryce.
Yes.
Drew Brees.
Who's
What?
going?
Who's going? Drew Brees. Sonny.
I think he doesn't get it on the first round.
Podfather.
Because Eli didn't make it on his first go around, I think Drew Brees will not go on his first go around either.
Bryce.
I agree with Podfather.
So you're saying that, so Podfather and Bryce, you're saying just because Eli didn't get in, is that sets a precedent and Brees doesn't get in?
Well, Brees has got 1 Super Bowl, whereas Eli's got 2, and he didn't make it.
Yeah, but how he
But
got
Drew
those
Brees
2
has
is
a
the
stats.
big question. And by the way, the fact that Eli Manning did not get in, that goes to show. I've never thought Eli Manning was a Hall of Famer. I never have.
He'll get. Eli's going to get in. It's not
But
first.
he's going to get in. He's going to get in, and he didn't make the first ballot. And frankly, thinking about Drew Brees, at least he showed that he was a quarterback. Let me ask you a question: who was the better quarterback? Was it Eli Manning or was it Drew Brees? And
Drew Brees.
2 seconds.
Drew Brees.
It's Drew Brees by a mile. So that's the reason why when you look at Drew Brees with maybe getting the first ballot, nod, is he was a better quarterback. I mean, it's just not even a question in reality. But at the same time.
But one thing, you think about it, every time there's NFL Hall of Fame, they got 6 or 7 players going in. This year they got 4.
Yes, that's because of that 80% rule.
Yeah, that was amazing when I saw that. I'm like, they only got 4 going in this year.
I'm changing my pick because Kurt Warner's in the Super Bowl. I mean, he's in the Hall of Fame. Was he first ballot?
No.
No. He wasn't. You're right. He wasn't. So I'm sticking with it. No, Drew Brees should not get in on be a first ballot. Maybe second.
I don't think he's going to.
Second ballot. Maybe second.
I mean, if Eli Manning with 2 can't get in with 1, Drew Brees with 1 is not going to be able to get in with it. And no one's going to look at the consequence on why it happened.
Hey, I'm all for Drew Brees going in and Eli not going in. If that can just keep on going forever and ever and ever, that'd be great. But, I know Eli will eventually get in. I think he'll probably get in before Drew.
What?
Did you get that? You got to get that, Obi. You got to clip that out.
What?
No. You got to clip.
Eli Manning goes to Hall of Fame before Drew Brees. Are you stoned? Well, no, you're not stoned.
Well, hold on. You got to remember who's doing the voting, okay? It doesn't matter if we're stoned, okay? It's the people who are doing the voting that go with that. But which, by the way, Kinkley not getting in. Kinkley not getting in.
I need to see that clip.
Is amazing to me.
That Obi what needs to be a marker. That needs to be.
Yes, we do. Yes, we need to make that as part of the show next year.
Yeah. Yes.
Maybe you could do it. Maybe you could do it next year as a tandem. Have Bryce and me doing what at the same time.
Yeah.
You need to. I got him going in. I would put Drew Brees in before Eli. I would be okay if they went in the same class, like maybe the second ballot or what have you. But no, I wouldn't put Drew Brees in on the first.
Philip Rivers getting in the Hall of Fame faster than
I don't see him
Manning.
going before Eli. No,
I don't see it. And listen, listen. I can kind of take the 2 Super Bowl things and make the fun of it all day long. But regardless, it's almost like and by the way, I've been a good boy lately. Okay. So let me preface this. It's almost as bad as, you look at a stat and say 2 Super Bowls, that guy should be able to get in. Yeah, he should be in theory, but it's the Frank Gore effect in reality, in my opinion. So
by the way, Frank Gore's up for it next year.
I know he's up for it, and he's not going to get it. He's not. Listen, if Kinkley can't get it, Eli Manning can't get it. Kinkley. Kuechly not being in on the first ballot, someone is not watching defense. I understand he played for the Panthers. Don't get me wrong, but that guy was a monster beast.
He was a stud.
Okay,
He was a
stud in reality. And if he can't make it, Frank Gore isn't going to make. And by the way, Frank Gore has at least 5 years to wait. I honestly believe that, because if people are looking at Eli Manning, with what's going on, they're looking at Frank Gore. They're not looking at that number 3 like most fans are. My brother makes me sick. Well, he's number 3. Just because he's number 3 doesn't mean that he is a Hall of Famer. I go back to that, and let's go back to that. LeBron James, he's passing Jordan. Yeah, 6 years later. 6 years later. So it means something. The years that it takes to do something. If it takes you 25 and another person it takes 17, you don't think that's part of the game? You don't think that's part of? Oh no, he just has a record. He should get in. That pisses me off. Because it doesn't make any sense. Because it shows that he was average. Jason Witten, it's a good question. Is he a first balloter? I think he is, but I also don't think he's gonna get it. What do you think, Bryce?
Wait. I'm sorry. Wait a minute. We're asking about Jason Witten.
Yeah,
not a first ballot Hall of Famer.
I don't think he's a first balloter. So what about you, Podfather?
No, I don't think he'll get a first ballot, only because the guy who threw him the ball is not going to be. He's not going to be anywhere near the Hall of Fame ballot. So that's probably the thing.
That's a good point. So let me ask Bryce: did Lamar get screwed?
Yes. You want to give it to Josh Allen? You want to give it to Josh Allen? Whatever. Just wasn't better. Like, you look at mostly all of the stats. Now, if you want to penalize Lamar for having Derrick Henry, okay, but when you just look at the passing numbers, he was lapping Josh Allen. Like Josh Allen had more rushing touchdowns. He had 8 more, which is great. Lamar had almost 20 more passing touchdowns in more yards. It wasn't even
a number you wouldn't expect from a Lamar Jackson.
It's like because Lamar's really, listen. You can be Obi and you can be Bryce, who hate the Ravens with a passion. And
no, not more than I do. I hate the Ravens.
Well, that might be debatable, but you can't deny that Lamar was sensational this year. It's not a playoff award. It's a regular season award. And he was clearly better in the regular season. So he should have won it.
Podfather, can you order me a sausage and egg biscuit?
Doing it.
Okay. Hey.
So
to me, it sounds like the TJ Watt effect in reality.
With Myles Garrett, who I felt.
With Myles Garrett.
I'm assuming that this question was who deserves the MVP, Josh Allen, because I couldn't hear because I was on the phone, right? Is this the question? Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson for MVP?
The question I posed is, did Lamar get snubbed?
No comment. No comment, because I'm not going to talk about Lamar Jackson.
Jeez.
He's like...
You just can't get off it. Take your reasonable fandom and just try to be unbiased for a second.
Okay.
It's in the same division. You got to see him twice a year.
Okay, so all right. So you're asking me to be a reasonable fan, not the bad blood recurring nightmare of an owner taking my team out of Cleveland and going to frickin' Baltimore.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'll take that hat off for a moment.
For a moment.
Stat wise, it's not even close. It's Lamar Jackson.
It's better.
It's not even close. This guy, I deep down, I hate to admit this, but this guy is special.
Oh, he is.
He will be, if he could get over that Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen hump and get to the Super Bowl. This guy is super, super special. But I think what hinders him is at times, and we've talked about it before, it's up in here,
Right.
late in the game when it really matters. And these right here, his small hands. And defensive ends and linemen know that. They go back and they see him have that ball down by his waist or his midsection. They're swiping at it.
Oh, yeah.
TJ Watt is a master at that. And
so let me ask you a question regarding the Lamar and Josh Allen. The Josh Allen effect, yes. You're looking at numbers, and things of that sort. And even the statement, watch the damn game, comes into effect here in reality. Because if you watch the damn game, I don't know how you can't look at Lamar Jackson and think of him as the MVP. The only thing that I think I see, and I don't know if it's good enough in reality, is the addition by subtraction that Josh Allen dealt with, getting rid of his number one wide receiver and having the successful season that the Buffalo Bills did have. You took away a big in Diggs. Diggs is gone. All of a sudden, Josh Allen looks like a quarterback that could be the standard bearer for the future at the position, if you like, the traditional quarterback. Now, Josh Allen can run the football. Let's not kid anybody. But as far as a guy that is able to stay in the pocket and that is his choice. He wants to be in the pocket. He wants to pass the ball. He can be the standard bearer of what the future of quarterbacks are concerned in reality. If he can become a Super Bowl winning quarterback multiple times, and then you have then you have Herbert trying to duplicate what's going on. Because let's be honest, Herbert's not going to duplicate what a Lamar Jackson does. He doesn't have the ability to do so. So it's really, I don't know. Did he get it because of the addition by subtraction? Is probably the only reason why I can see why he ended up winning the award more so than Lamar Jackson.
Hey, so here's what I was thinking about what you were just saying. Josh Allen wants to be in the pocket, and he wants to throw the ball. Josh Allen gets over that again, Patrick Mahomes hump, and the Kansas City Chiefs hump, and Josh Allen can go to the Super Bowl, win one, maybe win two. People are going to say, and I'm looking in the future, people are going to say, Josh Allen, Ben Roethlisberger 2.0.
Oh, wow.
Big, strong, wants to throw, but the element that Ben didn't have, Ben couldn't run worth a lick. And now Josh Allen can.
He did. He got into for that touchdown, which he was short on, which we can talk about that all day long. But he was a little bit short on that one.
I feel like that if Josh Allen could get over that hump, the Chiefs hump, that's his kryptonite right now is the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. If he could get past that, figure out a way,
because Patrick
get
Mahomes
to the Super Bowl,
is such a superstar,
win, and then win maybe another one. Wherever you talk about Josh Allen as being Ben Roethlisberger 2.0.
Yeah. Interestingly enough.
I agree. Phillip Rivers is not a first ballot Hall of Famer. Stop.
He's not at all.
No.
I don't think.
No. Is he even a Hall of Famer? Time will tell. I've never really been a fan.
He's kind of Dan Fouts-like,
Yeah. He's good, really good. But it's not the Hall of really good. It's the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's why Frank Gore should not be a Hall of Famer. He's really, I guess, if you want to say he's really good, okay, go ahead and do so. But he's not a Hall of Famer. He's not great.
I didn't say, but I didn't say that Phillip won't get in because I think Phillip, like Frank Gore, will one day get in, just not first ballot.
Really interesting. By the way, were there
Senior
any
committee.
honors outside? Go ahead.
If he gets in, we'd probably be through the seniors committee.
Yeah.
Could be the seniors. All right.
Hey, gentlemen, I'm going to have to get going.
Yeah. Obi, who do you have winning the Super Bowl?
Eagles.
Yeah. We
I
kind of
just-
talked about who we thought were going to win. You know, everybody seems to. I want the Eagles to win. I really do. I hope they win, and I'm going to pick them to win. But man, it's a tough one.
We've all picked the Eagles, and while we were talking about it and everything, I went to NFL.com. All of their experts have the Chiefs winning.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I give three
because
MVPs.
they're bought and paid for like the referees.
Oh, here we go. All right, gentlemen, I got to get going. By the way, I am trying something new today in my smoker. Something new. It is called Rotel cream cheese sausage balls.
Oh my Lord.
Good Lord, I feel my arteries hardening as it goes down. But
look at that!
Yeah,
that was one of the best ones I've ever done. Right there.
So,
I just gained 5 pounds watching that.
Yeah, no kidding, right? It's just like
I might
right.
on that.
Again, Sonny, happy anniversary! Congratulations!
Yes, thank you very much.
I was part of the
16
very
years.
first few of them. I really enjoyed this year a ton. I will come in every once in a while, throughout, non-football.
Big stories. I'll get
Hopefully, as we get closer, you know me. I love my baseball. Maybe we talk some baseball. Have a show, just talk baseball.
Wasn't an umpire just fired because of like some kind of being part of some kind of gambling thing?
Yeah. So
he was betting on baseball.
Yeah. Pete Rose effect. Oh,
Pete Rose effect. Yeah.
All right. We'll talk to you guys later. Bryce, have a great day. Okay.
Have a great one. Enjoy the Super Bowl as they,
I've got to head out too, Sonny. Godfather, who do you have winning? And Sonny, who do you have winning?
I got the Eagles. I got the Eagles.
Godfather's got the Eagles. His head didn't explode. What a traitorous turn on his Cowboys.
It hurts for me to say it, sir.
Were there any?
That's a reverse chair shot on yourself.
By the way, were there any awards that were given out that the one that stands out for me, obviously, the offensive player being Saquon, but I love the fact that they recognized Patrick Surtain. And in reality, that guy was monster on the defensive side of the ball. I love the fact that Surtain won the Defensive Player of the Year. Was there anybody? What was your favorite award, Brooklyn? Before you get out of here.
Look, I thought Patrick Surtain is a very deserving candidate. I had no issue with that. That guy's a really good corner. One of the best in the league. So, yeah, I had no issue with it. But I do have to run, guys. But I had no issue with it.
Bryce from Brooklyn. We'll catch you whenever we catch you after
you will be seeing me off and on. I know free agency's coming up and all that stuff.
Do you have anything planned? What's your meal? What are you doing?
I got some. Eat? I'm in Pittsburgh. There'll be some family coming over. There'll be wings and roasted potatoes and some other stuff. Man, my mom, shout out to her, is a great cook.
Awesome. There you go. Enjoy the Super Bowl.
What are you guys doing for the Super Bowl? Podfather, what are you doing?
I'm working.
Oh wow, okay.
I'm just gonna go walk into there and I got chips and I got air fryer. So I'm gonna have me some chicken sandwiches. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. Yeah.
All right. Well, Sonny, happy anniversary.
Thank you, my friend. Thanks for being part of the show.
Try to watch the game. Try to enjoy yourself. I know you'll be at work, and we'll be talking soon.
You got it. So he is Bryce from Bryce in Brooklyn. I'm going to start calling him Brooklyn because I think that's a great nickname for a guy. So that being said, so some of the NFL honors, the Walter Payton Award, Eric Armstead won. Coach of the Year, Kevin O'Connell, I think is an interesting guy to get it from Minnesota. In case anybody don't know who he was. He had a great year up until the final 2 games of the season. I don't know if I agree with the pick as far as the coach of the year is concerned, because the fact that Andy Reid or Sirianni didn't get it it's kind of it's kind of a head scratcher for me in reality.
I didn't mind it so much because, again, nobody saw it happening with Minnesota this year. Nobody saw that. For him to do what he did with that team up until the last couple of games. I mean, name someone else out there that could have done that.
Yep, and
I mean, I know the argument about Dan Campbell not getting it. I get it, but then again, he was kind
Dan Campbell is another one
this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean, this was really well deserved, and again, for a team that had nothing to go on once their rookie quarterback got knocked out of the preseason, I think for him to do what he did, this is a huge thing for him personally, because now down the road, if he's let go by the Vikings down the road, which will always happen, but I mean, if he ever gets let go, they'll be always looked upon like, hey, well, his first year with the Vikings, he won Coach of the Year for doing what he did with very less than what he had. So good for him.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and also Jaden Daniels, Rookie of the Year and Offensive Rookie of the Year. He gets that award. I don't think there's too many people in reality that, I guess if you want to say deserve, that deserve it. So, interestingly enough, I like the idea of what that is in reality. I love this guy. I think he's going to be somebody to really look forward to and watch for the rest of the for the years to come in reality. If you take a look at that, it's kind of nuts.
It can be one of two ways. He can be a really special player that's the guy you got to look at every year, or he can be RG3.
Well,
RG3 came into the league and blew the league up completely. Then the league figured him out the next year, and he got hurt. And next thing you know, he's trying to do college football games. So
really, yeah. I like the whole. I like the idea. I don't know. If he lights up, if he keeps lighting up and keep doing. Listen, like you said, they call it the sophomore slump for a reason, right? So you gotta look at it in that realm of things. But I think I am ready to say that was it was the best rookie performance in the NFL history. I really do believe that.
I put it up there with Stroud. I think. I mean, we had a bigger focus on Daniels this year because, the Commanders they got pretty far in the playoffs considering who they are.
Yes.
But I mean, Stroud did a lot with Houston last year, and the sophomore slump may have dampened some of that, and like kind of made our business history about his rookie year not be so great. But he was phenomenal last year. And again, the league may have figured him out a little bit. Maybe he had to learn more about the offense, because you figure when you're a rookie quarterback, you're not learning the entire offense that first year. You're learning the basics. How to move the ball down the field, how to get out of situations. Now you're looking at reads. You're looking at different sets that are going against you, because now there's tape on you. They've coached upon you, so it's a little different. So how Daniels does next year with the league kind of having a better focus on who he is, that could be interesting. Now he's a two-dimensional player, which is good for him. He can run the ball and he can throw the ball, and he can definitely, and working that Dan Quinn system that he's got there. Dan Quinn's system is all based on who he gets as an offensive coordinator, but it could work for him. I mean, the only thing that's going to screw him up are all these coaches that up and move teams like the next year? You know.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, I just saw a thing on my deal that looks like Kellen Moore is close to signing that deal with the Saints. So we'll
Yeah,
see what
after
happens
the
there.
game, he's probably going to hop on a plane and head on over there and get
Yeah,
that
so
done. You know, and then you got to ask yourself, as far as that is concerned, how much of an effect does the Kellen Moore effect have with the Eagles in reality? I mean, you
I
can say
mean,
what you know. Not listen. I've been a basher of Kellen Moore for years. Okay, can't
me too.
stand the guy, but you know, say whatever we want about it. He's in the Super Bowl. He's in with the guy. By the way, just think about this. And I'm going to throw this up here. There are not too many players that lost their first Super Bowl and made their appearance. I knew I had that somewhere. I couldn't find it. But these, going back to 1994, only two quarterbacks have been able to get back to the Super Bowl: Jim Kelly and Jalen Hurts. Which you say whatever you want. That first of all, that's hard, and then second of all, can they get the job done and get the victory? Unlike Jim Kelly, couldn't get the job done and get the Super Bowl ring. So, big story. Well, not necessarily a big story, but a big stat to look at in consideration on what's going to be going on.
But like you told me earlier, that the history doesn't matter about today, right?
Right.
I mean,
right.
We can look back at it a certain way and go, well, because history dictates this will happen. It's all well and good. But once it actually happens, and go, well, now we have it. Then we can spin it how we want to make our ego feel better about how we look at that stat. Look,
Absolutely.
I mean, I feel bad for Jim Kelly, because Jim Kelly,
God.
he had two chances, once against the Giants, once against the Redskins, and then twice against the Cowboys. I mean, I'm glad he didn't beat the Cowboys, but at the same time, I mean, the Scott Norwood kick at the end of that Giants game. I mean, then the Redskins just putting it on him on that next year. And I mean, and you think about it, he had Andre Reed, he had Thurman Thomas, he had Bruce Smith, he had a lot of great players on that team, and they just couldn't quite make that time work. And Marv Levy, God bless him. I mean, Hall of Fame coach all the way, doing what he did, but just doesn't have those rings. I mean, it's kind of like the Minnesota Vikings in the '70s, right? Frank Tarkenton, great quarterback, but just didn't seem to happen to have that other factor, which was the winning Super Bowl. I mean, when you look at a guy like Tony Romo, right? He's always noted for not being the guy who won any big playoff game, right? But he had the stats. He has the numbers to say, stat-wise, I'm a Hall of Famer. But,
does he really though? I never really looked at him. Does he really? I'm asking. Does he really have the stats to be a Hall of Famer?
I mean, he beat Staubach's records. I mean, he beat Staubach's already in the Hall of Fame. Now, that might be comparing apples to oranges because
it is
because of the time they played. But they also beat Danny White stuff too. And Danny White, who was throwing the ball a little bit more than Staubach was. So I mean, in fact, hell, I think even Romo passed a lot of Aitman's records. But and Aitman, I mean, the NFL's all-time leading running back in the backfield. But I mean, I always think that if Romo had a decent running game behind him, we may have been able to say some different things about him, because then Jason would be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
I think you're right. That's a good point.
But then like guys like Des Bryant, who's on the ballot for next year, who should not be in the Hall of Fame at all.
Well, listen, Des Bryant. Listen, I can take the hate out of this. Des Bryant's not a Hall of Famer, not even close. By the way,
no, but he's on the list. So
yeah,
gotcha. It's one of those things. It's one of those things like when it comes to the Hall of Fame thing, nothing's ever gonna feel right when certain players aren't in. Like I truly believe Darren Woodson probably should go in. But how do you look at his safety and go Hall of Famer? Because a lot of safeties don't have the stats. A lot of those stats go to the cornerbacks.
Right. But also a lot of people stayed away from him because he was Darren Woodson.
Sure. But
right?
Then, I mean, look at Roy Williams. I mean, Roy Williams would have been a hell of a player had the Roy Williams rule not gone into effect. You know,
that is
So,
a good point too. Yeah, I get it. That makes sense. You know, I'm getting to that. I got this text. They want me to. And I've been getting these all of a sudden. Have you been getting the texts about being part of a clinical trial? Like they want to kill me off that early, but with experimental drugs. I love it. So, hey, there's a good question. Yeah, no kidding, right? Is it Julian Edelman? Is he a Hall of Famer? You know, I don't think he is.
he goes in. He goes in.
You think so?
Look, again, you know, the New England Patriots are going to have the same effect that the Pittsburgh Steelers had in the 70s. They're going to put any Patriot that was a part of that dynasty team in the Super Bowl. Same way they did with the Steelers. And Edelman was a big part of that.
Yeah, well, so were a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, and guess what? A lot of people from the 70s Steelers teams are in the Hall of Fame.
Well, they were that good, and yeah, I don't know. I think, and I'm sorry, I know I'm going to insult, but I think of Julian Edelman more of a role player than a guy, you know, a number one wide receiver that guy's a role player.
But a Hall of Fame role player. But a Hall of Fame role player. That's the thing. Look. We can debate this all we want to, and that's great.
Well, that's what we do.
That's what we do. Yeah. Look, I truly think that a guy like Daryl Johnston should be in the Hall of Fame for everything he did to help him get to the record that he got.
Who?
Okay. Daryl Johnston, Moose.
Oh yes. Yeah. He kind of defined the tight end position in reality in the 90s.
Well, it wasn't a tight end; it was a fullback. But the thing is, because he's a fullback and he didn't score that many touchdowns.
Yeah.
You know.
Gotcha.
Okay. But then like a guy like Jay Novacek, right? Jay Novacek helped make Troy Aikman.
That's who I was thinking. Novacek. Sorry, yeah. You're right.
Yeah, but I mean, both those two players were great players for the very limited time they were there. Now, Daryl was with the Cowboys his entire career and ended up having to walk out of the game because of his neck. But then again, you know.
That's why they got the Ring of Honor. That's why they got the Ring of Honor.
That's true.
So, in reality, some of the things, you know, interestingly enough, you know, Super Bowl always brings out the best stories. And obviously, the big story in reality, if you think about it, right now that's going on, as far as the Eagles are concerned, how this team feels about and they know they're going to lose Kellen Moore. You know, how are they going to replace this guy? How are they going to be able to say, okay, we need someone that is this type of guy, because especially if they win the Super Bowl. Especially if they win the Super Bowl, how are you going to get over losing to Kellen Moore? Although, if I'm the Eagles, I don't give a rip. I'll find somebody. I never really liked him at all. But listen, they hired him. They liked him at the time they hired him. He did his job, and he did it well. This is going to be a big loss for the Eagles in reality come next year. How do they get that Jalen Hurt, you know, situation back?
Hey, as much as I used to hate it when he was at the Cowboys, the stat he always had going for him was that they scored the most points in the league with him as their coordinator. That was, I mean, they gave up a lot of points, but I mean, they scored a lot of points.
Well, they're sixth in the NFL in scoring. You know, 28. They're averaging 28.4 points a game. Okay, so you know that comes from something. Now, granted, listen, I think there's a difference between him being with the Cowboys than he is with the Eagles.
Right.
And it has nothing to do with the offense. It has to do with the defense. And say whatever you want about him when he was there. Their defense wasn't all that great. Now, granted, they had a couple of good players, but all around, as far as the defense was concerned, it was a problem while he was here. So maybe a lot of that has to.
This is my question. Didn't the Cowboys have Dan Quinn as their coach at that time?
when I think if it was 1 or 2 years, and Dan Quinn took about 2 to 3 years to get their defense to where it was playing well. If I remember, I could be thinking differently or thinking incorrectly, but I'm not sure. So something to think about. But all right, now, just so that you know, we're going to take a break, okay? And the reason being is I need to hit the head, and I need to get some more. I'm going to get some more coffee. I got some good stuff out in the other room I want to get. So we're going to do this. We're going to take a quick break here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. And I got a couple of things that we're going to be putting up during the break. So first of all, enjoy that. I got a couple of minutes of a couple of snippets. I'm going to replay the snippet that I played before the game to give me that minute. So we're going to do that. We're going to take the quick break here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. I know you'll like this next part in reality because I know you. Anyway, so go ahead. All right, so there you go. So take a listen. We'll be back here on the Couch Potato Sports.
Inside the NFL. Phil Simms is on the show, and Lawrence Taylor is coming in. So it's Phil, Chris Collinsworth, Lawrence Taylor, and me. I mean, one of those classic, like, what in the hell am I doing here, right? So Lawrence hasn't showed up yet. So Phil tells me a story. I go, I can't believe Lawrence Taylor's going to be here. I mean, that guy, like, he literally changed the game. And I was just going on and on about him. He goes, you know what's funny about that guy? He goes, he didn't even know the names of the teams in the leagues. I go, get the out of here. He goes, yeah, one time we won some game. They were on the road and they're on the team playing. They're all hyped. Lawrence is psyched. And Phil goes, yeah, hey, man, if the Redskins lose, then we're going to be in first place in our division. And Lawrence goes, who's in our division? And Phil goes, you don't know who's in our division? And he goes, man, I don't give a shit. And I'm thinking, like, that is the genius of him. Let's say, I don't need extra information in my head. You have a different uniform than me. I'm going to ruin your day. I thought it was a hilarious story. But as always, you think maybe he put a little mustard on it or whatever. 10 minutes later, Lawrence Taylor comes walking in. Lawrence sits down and he starts telling stories. And in the middle of one story, he goes, we were down in New Orleans and we were playing the, Phil, what's the name of that team in New Orleans? And he goes, the Saints. He goes, we were playing the Saints. It was unbelievable.
Everybody knows that Jason is the better Kelsey. We're sending Patrick back home, nothing you could tell me. About to strangle us a goat, let them know. Swift tears to their eyes, make them cry while we hit the celly. Big Red, you know we love you in this town, but nobody wants to see you win again. Your time's up, this is the end, now it's time for revenge. Thought that you would never see us here again, yeah, now what? 2 years, but it's feeling like it took forever. Saquon better than all your backs put together. We're not in Kansas anymore, Juju's washed up. Hollywood can't score, Travis O, get that man a break. Put in Noah Gray, CJ, GJ, about to introduce him to the floor. AJ, gon' hit you with a tug. You ain't worthy of a game against us. BG coming back for a sack, lay Mahomes on his back, walk off with the dub. No sweat, we can read everything you call. Jalen Carter sack, Zach Bond get the ball. Philly verse everybody, us against y'all. The best thing about an empire is when they fall. Kermit stop crying, always looking at the refs. Defense wins chips and you know we got the best. Tried to hold it in, I had to get it off my chest. Say it with me, E-A-G-L-E-S, go Bird.
This is what's great about sports. This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it. That's the great thing about sports. You play to win. And I don't care if you don't have any wins. You go play to win. When you start telling me it doesn't matter, then retire. Get out. Because it matters. You don't get to quit. It's not an option.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here. Big Wireless has once again raised their prices. In response, we're bringing back our deflation promotion. The marketing department asked me to be as explicit as possible when explaining it. So, here we go. Because we don't love f***ing our customers over like Big Wireless. We're bringing back our offer for f***ing unlimited premium wireless for only $15 a month. F*** me to the moon and back. That's a great f***ing deal. Explicit enough, marketing f***s.
At the Jerry Bullet Training Center, we are a motivated team of coaches with the mindset of helping you achieve and reach your highest goals. Having developed and trained over 100 Division I athletes as well as Division II athletes, even professional athletes, the Bullet team definitely has the knowledge and mindset to take you to the next level. Check out our new 22,000 square foot facility and 3,000 square foot weight room, along with 4,500 square feet of outdoor turf and covered training area, along with football and soccer field. Contact Melvin Bullitt at 214-326-7853 or visit their facility just outside of Waterview at 8900 Princeton Road in Rowlett. This is Sonny Clark letting you know about Karen McKinney of Budget Blinds of Rowlett. Find a little inspiration by browsing our product, whether it be the latest trends, child safety, or smart home technology, and more. Contact Karen McKinney at 972-722-9300 or visit her on the web at budgetblinds.com/Rowlett. You can also learn who they are, as well as their approach and products, and you can also schedule a free home consultation. Again, contact Karen at 972-722-9300 or log online, budgetblinds.com/Rowlett. Rich's Performance Muffler and Auto Care has provided complete auto repair services to the Wiley area since 2003. Whether it's alignments, brakes, air conditioning, muffler service, suspension, front-end auto services, or in my case, a Cadillac converter, Rich does it all. Stop by and see him at 603 Commerce Street, Suite 203 in Wiley, or give him a call at 972-461-0776. That's 972-461-0776. You'll be happy you called Rich instead of anybody else. Let Buffalo Creek Doors and Floors help you restore your home to its like-new condition. Need a contractor? Let us be your first stop as well as your last. We specialize in everything that others don't, such as stained concrete floors, wood spot repairs on doors and floors, stainless steel spot repairs, anti-slip on floors, and more. Want to see what kind of work we do? Check out our Facebook page and you can see the craftsmanship you'll receive and expect from Buffalo Creek Doors and Floors. Give Rodney James a call at 214-536-2607. That's 214-536-2607. Or check him out on the web at www.buffalocreekdoorsandfloors.com.
There is nothing that beats good home-cooked barbecue. Since 1941, Dickey's Barbecue has done all the cooking and you take all the credit. Come see us today at our Rowlett location, 5701 President George Bush Turnpike, Suite 110 in the Target Shopping Center. Whether you want to eat in or take it home, we will fix you up. For lip-smacking, rib-tickling, knee-slapping, foot-stomping, great-tasting barbecue, come see us at Dickey's Barbecue today.
All right, everybody, welcome back into the Couch Potato Sports Show. 16 years we have made it through to this day, and it is the Super Bowl week. Always a fun time, always something to talk about as far as, things that are going on. Want to get into a couple of things that are out there just to put it in. I think it was Anthony. Yeah, Anthony let everybody know Graham returns from a torn tricep for the Super Bowl. That is a big pick, defensive end. How much pressure is he going to be able to put up on, Patrick Mahomes? That'll be a big part of the game, especially if he's successful in getting to them in reality. So big stuff there. Looking at a lot of rookies in this game. I like looking at rookies and how they will, really fare as they go on. But here's one of the big questions, I think. If we want, and I think even Podfather will admit it, the Chris Jones effect is going to be big. If you don't stop Chris Jones, I don't know how the Philadelphia Eagles win this football game. This guy's a monster. He is a game changer, too. And that's the difference between just a regular role player and what he does week in, week. But you need, if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, you got a game changer. And that game changer, of course, is him.
Yeah, but you also got different things you can throw at him, too. Whereas a lot of teams are very one-dimensional. You got the all-time leading rusher for this year, hitting him. You got a running quarterback, based on how much running he's going to do, and how quickly does he get the pass off? If you take Chris Jones out of the game, then he's a non-factor, and then you should be able to do what you can do with that defense. But
easy for us to say, right?
Yeah, I can say that just sitting here driving on 35 going north right now. Yeah, I'm running as fast away from him as I can. But
yes,
yeah. Ideally, you get him taken out of the game and make him a non-factor. Then the Eagles should be able. I think the Eagles got the decent place to do that. Whereas a lot of teams don't really have that. So, And by the way, had the Lions advanced to the Super Bowl, they had to have that same thing with their running back.
That's a good point.
So
that's a good point. And keeping up with other teams, and it's about finding who is going to be the thing that is going to stop you from winning. If Chris Jones is not one of those guys, you're not paying attention. See, that's what it is. You're not paying attention. You need to pay attention to certain guys. Now, the guy that I think that no one's even really, I don't know if nobody is, I guess, because I haven't been listening, but Andy Reid, say whatever you want about this guy. Couldn't get the job done in Philadelphia to get to the Super Bowl. He got there, but never won it. But now what he's been able to do with Kansas City Chiefs, they got 4 rings, right? They got 4 rings. And, they're going for the 5th. And that Patrick Mahomes, I remember Shannon Sharp, all these experts saying this guy is not the guy. This is not the guy that can change the league and make a difference. And boy, are they eating their words today, because say whatever you want about Patrick Mahomes getting the call because of rest, all that. That guy still makes plays. So that's another guy that defense is going to have to stop that guy, that being Patrick Mahomes, from delivering the ball to Kelsey, because as I think Obi said, he'll do whatever he can to get open. So you're going to have to stop Patrick Mahomes. And God, I just wonder, even though that defense is so good, how does that happen?
Well, it'd be interesting to see. Also, I know this is nothing but coincidences, and and it's been made a whole lot of because of all the NFL hate that's out there for Mahomes. But how will the referees call the match? If they see someone touch Mahomes and he falls to the ground and flubs like crazy, will they call a penalty? There's ways you got to look at that too. Look, you go back to that championship game. That fourth and 1, and Josh Allen didn't get. They say he didn't get across the line. Look at that again. Did he not get across the line? There are certain things we have to look at, and now, does the Taylor Swift magic happen here again? That's the whole funny thing that's turned out to be. Can't those two just go and get married and have this thing be over with by now? Come on.
I'm on mute. Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. I'm on mute. Perfect for you.
Really is. I can do it also to myself.
There you go. But all right, so more things. Super Bowl facts. some things that came across, the thing. It's the 7th Super Bowl for the Chiefs. They got 4 wins, as far as that is concerned. The first, say whatever you want about what can be done. Wait, I am mistaken.
I'll say. I got a question for you.
What?
I just have a question for you.
What's the question? And I'll find out. I think I'm wrong about something. Go ahead.
All right, you're fine. What's the very first Super Bowl you remember actually watching?
The first Super Bowl I remember watching, just when I got into it, had to be, when the Bears won the Super Bowl.
Okay.
And that's when, because I was a teenager and I was playing football, at that time. So yeah, but I remember sitting down watching football with my dad, but not necessarily being into it. There's a difference. I remember watching football, but really getting into it probably didn't happen until the years the Bears went to the Super Bowl.
See, for me, it was the 1983 season. The Los Angeles Raiders would face the Washington Redskins in the Super Bowl. The Redskins were 14-2 that year, and I believe the Raiders were a wild card team, and the Raiders ended up winning the game 38-9. That had the Marcus Allen 74-yard touchdown run.
Right.
And he rushed for 191 yards in that game, and for some reason, that is the one Super Bowl that the non-Dallas Cowboy one that I remember seeing, that I remember vividly. Probably because I used to watch it over and over and over. But they had Lyle Zato, Howie Long was in his first couple of years. You had Lester Hayes for the Raiders. Then on the Redskins, you had Theismann, Riggins, Art Monk, Clint Didier, Dexter Manley, Dave Butts. I mean, you had such great players back then. And John Madden and Pat Summerall called the game. I remember that very vividly.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it was such a thing I would look forward to. So when the next year, when it was the Niners and the Dolphins, and how the game was kind of okay. Then of course the one year that was one that you saw was Bears and Patriots, where the Bears whooped the shit out of the Patriots.
Yeah, they whipped the hell out of them.
Yeah, so it was like, it all kind of got diminished around that time, but at the same time, the Broncos got hot, and then but they weren't going to win because they were still the Broncos, and
yeah,
they went through the Giants and the Redskins, and they that strike shortened season when the Redskins, it was amazing out of three Super Bowl wins that the Redskins got, or at least three that I know of, 2 of them came in strike shortened seasons. So
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
I remember those days.
So yeah, I mean, today's a day that if you're an NFL fan, no matter if your team's playing or not, you look forward to it. I know there's a lot of people want to boycott the Super Bowl and everything else. And that's just social media. That's just social media being stupid. I mean, we give everybody
there's a lot of women involved with it.
Well, you got your girl Taylor Swift in it. Enjoy it. So I mean, look, we give you social media as a platform to sit there and and promote and have fun and talk about the good things, but they use so much for hate. I never go to that Twitter/X. That's just nothing but venom shit. So
yeah,
I try to stay away from that kind of stuff because, again, this is a game that these guys have busted their ass to get to through the war of attrition, through everything they've had to go through, the ups and downs, mostly ups because that's where they're at. That's where they're at today.
Absolutely.
And and for them to get to where they're at, the guys like Andy Reid who have earned this, who's already in the Hall of Fame to begin with, but now he gets to add another game to his ledger. Whether he wins or loses, it doesn't matter. It's still a game that someone else didn't get a chance to go to.
For him, yes.
Yeah. I mean, say what you want. It's a game that Dan Campbell missed out on. So, it is what it is.
That's my snub. Dan Campbell should have won Coach of the Year. I just say, to me, it's something missed. I get why. Don't get me wrong. I get why he won. Over in Minnesota, but man, talk about a guy I think that had such more of a real effect on his football team, because guess what? All the injuries that happened, for that football team, a coach had to keep them going through. The other one in Minnesota, if it wasn't, if Sam Darnold went down in the middle of the season, we wouldn't have even been talking about him. So that's just more of the reason why my snubs on. Don't die on me on air. That'd be horrible. Show on an anniversary show, Podfather chokes to death. But
Hey, look. I just passed 2 gas stations right across from each other. One had gas at 279. One had gas at 266. Where are you gonna go?
I know where I'd go, and in the grand scheme of it all, I know exactly where I'd go. All right, so 7 Super Bowls for the Kansas City Chiefs. They got 4 wins, 3 with Patrick Mahomes. I thought it was 4, and so I was wrong. So exactly. And for the Philadelphia Eagles, this is their 5th appearance. They won once, and that was with the former head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars at the helm for the Philadelphia Eagles to win that. But these two going head to head for the second time. Obviously, the Chiefs won the first time. There are 12 teams in the NFL that have not been to the Super Bowl, or that have not won the Super Bowl. Can you name the 12? I get to cheat because I'm looking at it. I don't know if I could have named them. I probably could have named them.
All right, well, give me a second here. Let's see. The Chargers.
Chargers is one.
Panthers.
Panthers is another.
Jaguars.
Jaguars are another.
Lions.
Lions are another.
Vikings.
The Vikings have been to the Super Bowl.
They've been, but they're not won.
Hold on. Hold on. I'm looking at this thing, and it doesn't never won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, never won a Super Bowl, and the Vikings.
I don't see that. I'll have to look that up because I'm looking at this thing that's supposedly from.
The Vikings been to 4 of them, and they lost all 4 of them.
Okay, well then there's 13. All right, so then go ahead.
Okay, Atlanta.
There it is. I see it. The Vikings. I was just looking for the wrong logo.
Yeah.
Atlanta is another one. Yes.
The Bills.
The Bills are another.
See here. Am I doing good so far?
You're doing real good.
Okay. The Cardinals.
The Cardinals are another.
Okay. Seattle's not one. So.
In Obi's division.
Oh, Cleveland.
Cleveland is one.
Cincinnati's been 3 times. They have never won one.
They've been there, but they didn't win. That's another one. Let's see. Which ones are you missing? There are 2 that you're missing, both in the AFC and in the same division.
Okay. Houston Texans.
Yes.
And the Tennessee Titans.
That is correct. Those are the 12 that are that are set and ready to go. So, interestingly enough, huge stuff.
Okay, well, here, I got one for you then. This is a Super Bowl rematch, right?
It is.
How many other Super Bowl rematches can you name?
Not many, because my brain's I'm not good at remember exactly who played who and when they played them. My brain's not that functional.
Well, here, I'll help you out. Dallas and Pittsburgh. They've done it 3 times.
Okay.
The Cincinnati Bengals and the Niners. They did it twice.
Really?
Yeah, they did it in Super Bowl 23 and Super Bowl 16. The Dolphins and the Redskins.
Ravens and Redskins. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I want to say the Vikings and the Steelers, but I could be wrong about that. Because I think the Vikings
We'll
played the
ask.
Raiders.
We'll ask Bryce next time he's on.
Yeah. Dallas and Buffalo. Because they were back-to-back years.
Was that part of that? Yeah, that's part of that 4-year run. So it'd also be the Bills and Steelers because that's who they played.
Bills and Steelers is on Super Bowl. They're both in the
AFC Championship game. That's right.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's been a few rematches for sure.
Yeah.
It's bound to happen.
And this one is.
Yeah, this one is. I mean, it is funny how, like, I remember when the Bengals finally went back to Super Bowl, like, we got to play the Niners again? Jesus. And they still got Montana? Damn it.
Damn.
Oh, and they got Jerry Rice. Oh, shit.
Watch out. It's even worse.
Yeah, this is not getting any better. No.
All right. So, also, let's go through Super Bowl last year. The Chiefs, they got their, game check, but they also received a bonus last year for the Super Bowl, $164,000 bonus. As the 49ers, each player got $89,000 as a bonus. So just to throw that out there. And it's some interesting thing. 83,000 fans are supposed to be in for the Super Bowl. 83,000 people at the in Louisiana at the Superdome. How many were at WrestleMania when they did it in Pontiac? No, when they did it in Pontiac, yeah.
Well, they say 93,000, but Dave Meltzer will tell you only 70,000 showed.
I don't know. You think he's full of shit? So do you think they showed?
I think there's a nice medium number in there, but it's funny because in watching the Royal Rumble, I thought they had more of a crowd there than they had the Pontiac Silverdome, and they said they only had 70,000 there, so it's hard to say.
And you would think based upon what they see for a football game, you get more because the ring is so small and they put seats on the floor. So it's kind of weird to me. I don't know how they figure that out or how they sell it or what's going on with it. But
when WrestleMania 32 took place in Dallas or Arlington, they say 100,000 people came to that one, but then I'm not sure what they had to give up to have that.
There were standing room onlys, that's for sure. That part I know about. Because I was actually looking to maybe think about going as long as I didn't have to pay for parking. As far as that was concerned. Now, not that I would have busted my neck to try to get to get to it. But out-of-town visitors that are expecting 125,000 out-of-town visitors are expected in New Orleans, which makes for a very rowdy, what's it called? The name of that street. It's going through my head.
Bourbon Street.
Bourbon Street, yes. Yeah, so that makes a very interesting, Bourbon Street kind of thing.
Can you imagine how good the food was this past week there?
Oh, I can't. No, I can't because I first of all, I wouldn't pay the amount, but if money was no issue, I would have probably ate until I puked. Because my wife went to Bourbon Street. She stayed on Bourbon Street and she had some incredible meals. I wouldn't have paid the price to have those meals, but my wife said they were delicious.
You're right.
So
I can only imagine. I can only imagine just how good all that must have been out there. But then again, I never liked it when the Super Bowl was in town because for me being a ticket fan, I like to hearing those boys going on the road and having their adventures and stuff. So to me, that was always a big part of my Super Bowl week. This week when I was being sick, I missed out on all that. But when it was here, it was like it was kind of, I mean, even when we had the bad ice storm and everything else, and everybody's going, yeah, that's the only thing we
Yes.
really talk about is that we had nothing for the roads out here. It kind of sucks, but
I remember that game. I remember that one because of the ice, and it really affected what was going on there as far as that was concerned. But still, that was a packed stadium for that thing.
yeah, it was. I mean, that was the Packers and the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
I believe so. That was Mike McCarthy's win for Super Bowl. So, yeah.
All right, so there's a new. I put that post up on what the average price. Now I found it a little bit better. That's supposedly more $11,067.
Jesus.
And I can't even imagine that it's unbelievable. I mean, I love the Super Bowl, and I actually been to a Super Bowl. I went to Tempe, and I watched that. Oh, damn Steelers, or Cowboys. I went to the one with the Cowboys and the Steelers, and I sat in the nosebleeds. Literally, I was on the top part of Sun Devil Stadium watching that football game, and I didn't even get there until the second quarter. Because I bought it after the game started so I could get a little bit cheaper. That was an instant where I said I just wanted to go and say I've been there once,
I remember watching that game on TV and how NBC, who was the AFC affiliate for that was calling the game, they were so up Bill Cowher's ass that entire game because, again, just between Bill Cowher and Barry Switzer, take your pick, right? So. So they were so up Bill Cowher's ass that entire game. They were openly cheering for the Steelers to win this game.
Mm-hmm.
And when it didn't happen, when Neil Dahl threw the interception, which I think he should have gotten MVP of the game because he lost that game for the Steelers, much as Larry Brown won it for him. But I think it was so funny to listen to Dick Ebers. Dick Enberg and whoever else was calling the damn game, just going batshit crazy about how the Steelers got fucked over and everything. I'm like, dude, shut up. Just call the game.
I agree. Call the game. I agree. And I remember that because that was a big story that the commentators got way too much into that. And that was probably one of the first that I really ever heard it being a big issue. And it was. That made the rounds in the media and everything about, the commentators getting too far into it. You're absolutely right.
And to be honest with you, I mean, in my mind, and this maybe old school thinking on my part, teams like Summerall and Madden were great. Teams like Joe Buck and Aikman are great.
Yeah.
I do enjoy the Tony Romo aspect of the Jim, I don't know what's going on. I do enjoy that a little bit. I mean, sometimes I do think that one guy that played for the Carolina Panthers, now he became the color commentator, and Brady took over his spot. What's his name?
I see his face. That hair comb over that he's got going on. Olsen.
Yeah.
Olsen.
Yeah. Greg Olsen got so screwed over on that.
He did.
Because he was actually really good. I mean, considering
he was the number one. He was the number one before. Brady
kicked his ass. Yeah, for Brady kicked his ass out, and Brady might lose his gig though because the NFL doesn't like the fact that he's calling bias and shit. When the fact that he's also an NFL owner too. So
be
interesting to see how this works.
You bet. Well, there he is. He is in the green room, fashionably late.
Can't see me.
Got him in. He's the MVP of the Couch Potato Sports Show. Happy anniversary. This would be your 15th year with us here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. It's funny. I was looking at that, and not the consistency factor is not there, but Tom McManus actually been here a little bit longer than Cuervo, which, by the way, I meant to tell you, that was one cool ass jersey, by the way. You even had the NFL logo working right there. So you actually paid big bucks for that.
Not as much as you think, Sonny.
It is
As
a
much as they,
Jacksonville
I got,
Jaguars
I got
jersey. I mean, come on.
well, they paid me to have the jersey, so there you go.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because they got the wrong one. But how much did you initially throw down for that thing?
So I'll be honest. I get my stuff from like overseas. You know, they're not like NFL shop jerseys. They're yeah.
The offhand brand.
The offhand brand, exactly. We'll just leave it at that.
That's what mine is.
So, yeah, I think I paid $30 for it. But like I said, when I ordered it,
you paid a lot less than I did.
When I ordered it, it was supposed to be white. I ordered it white because I knew you had the teal. So I was like, well, I'm gonna get a white one. And then I get it in the mail, and it's the teal.
By the way, I do have a white one and a teal one. I got both. Yeah. And then I got the one that I so I have the original jerseys that they came in the league with the white and the teal. And, yeah, with my names on the back of them. So, and now I can wear them again. I used to, I got them and they fit in. I got fat, couldn't fit in. Now I can fit back into them. So I'm pretty excited about that. So next year, I am going to wear a Jaguar jersey every Sunday. So I'm just going to throw that out there.
Step your game up next year. Okay, good. Good for you.
Yeah. Well, you know, I just got to throw this out here, Cuervo. The days that go by with this coach already has got me. I hate it. Let me just say,
you're gonna love him. You're gonna love him. He's gonna be the best coach you ever had. Come on now.
No, he can't even get the nickname.
Duval.
God. I've never been more embarrassed. I mean, the Jaguars are bad enough, but that alone just stands out to make me sick to my
Duval.
I'm never going to live it down.
Sonny, I'll trade you Jerry Jones for your coach.
Okay.
Okay,
at least he's got a quarterback. No, at least he'll spend. Now, hey, say whatever you want. The Jaguars spend money. Now, they don't spend it on the right players. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they made Christian Kirk one of the biggest salary wide receivers, which reset the wide receiver market forever. But they'll spend money, and they've done it. But yeah.
Hey boys, I gotta go. But I'll catch you guys next week. All right.
You got it. We'll catch you next week. Good
to
see
you. Today, Father.
I got the Eagles.
He's on the Philadelphia Eagles. So, something to keep track of there. Good to see you, Podfather. We'll check you next week maybe and go from that. Next week, we go into smorgasbord, NBA, NFL, even we'll be doing it all in reality there. So that being said, Cuervo, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning,
just
Sonny.
to let you know, Obi and Brooklyn are on the Eagles as well.
Brooklyn Bryce.
Right. Brooklyn Bryce. I'm going to start calling Brooklyn. He needs a good nickname. So Brooklyn is good. I like it. So I'm going to try to remember it. We've been doing it for so many years as Bryce, but I'm going to try to work his nickname into the show. But that being said, of course, that's the name of this show.
You're telling me something is I missed the best smile on the internet.
The best. He has the best smile on the internet. I haven't seen one better. I just haven't. But that being said, it is time to get the MVP's opinion about today's football game. And, the Super Bowl. And outside of picking it, the last question will be, is he going to watch it? Because that was actually a subject of conversation last week when we were talking about it. So we got to find out if he's going to watch it. So let's go to the game first. What's your take up on what you think you'll see today and as far as the Super Bowl is concerned?
Well, I'll just go ahead and start it off. I did get invited to coworker's house, so I will be watching.
So all right, so you will be going. Taking the lovely lady or no?
No, and because I'm going, she's I'll wait till you finish your coffee. She's calling me a sellout. I'm officially a sellout because I'm going to watch the game. And apparently I'm a Patrick Mahomes lover too.
You must be.
But
well, your team is not in the same division as that one there, so I get it. Never mind Patrick Mahomes and all the conspiracy theories and stuff like that. It's in her division too, so I get it.
She cannot stand him. But how about all the questions that him and Travis Kelce were getting this week at Media Week about the officiating and hey Patrick, who's your favorite ref and who do you owe it to get your to where your career is at now? What ref do you want to acknowledge the most?
So unprofessional. Well, first of all, I thought it was fun, but I was actually shocked that it wasn't even really a quote unquote member of the media. He was more like us. He wasn't like
it was YouTubers. I mean, it was YouTubers and stuff like that were doing it. It wasn't like somebody that worked for ESPN or CBS or something like that.
It was so unprofessional. It made, I mean, our show looks bad. No, it is just like, oh my gosh, it was such a bad question. It was an embarrassment. He ought to never be able to be allowed on Radio Row or in where those interviews go again. It was so horrible. There were two guys that were just completely out of line, but it is what it is.
I don't think it was out of line. I don't. And what are they going to lose? Credentials? They have no credentials. I mean, who the hell cares?
They could lose credentials. I mean, listen, as much as everything that goes on, and especially with nowadays, when it comes to the Super Bowl, they want that to be as professional as possible. I mean, you can I think you could probably do that crap during the regular season where it's all local, but we're talking about the worldwide stage. They didn't need / want that kind of BS going on as far as that is concerned. I think.
Well, I mean, it got to the point where the commissioner had Roger Goodell had to address it, and it wasn't because the YouTubers were asking Mahomes and Kelce those questions. It was more about, I think he knows that people, around social media or just topics of conversation, everywhere you look, it's become a thing where, you can argue if it's a conspiracy or not. You watch the film yourself, and you make your own judgment on whether the officiating kind of favors Kansas City in crucial moments of a game or not. That's up to you. I think, me personally, I think that using the thing about it's because they're so good. That's a cop out, in my opinion. You call the game fair. It don't matter how talented or not talented the team is. You really want parity in this league? If you really want equality in this league, then you call all the games fair. It don't matter whose name is on the back of the jersey. It doesn't matter whose name is on the front of the jersey. It does not matter. Every game should be called with fairness, and that's what I thought the league was supposed to be about. But sometimes it's questionable on whether it is fair.
It is questionable. There's no question that there seems to be that. And the only thing that I would say, okay, and this is just from an outsider looking in, okay, you want to talk about a tough job, calling the right penalty and things of that sort. The problem is that, and I've seen this happen, by the way, is that New York is getting involved with a lot of these calls too. Okay. They're coming back after a flag wasn't thrown, and then you hear about the late flag after further review from, I forget how they do it, but it's basically New York calling in and saying, hey, there needs to be a flag here. Something was missed. I'm really having a hard time with that. And the reason why I have a hard time with that, because it does bring the fact that conspiracy and all that other stuff does get involved with it. People start talking about it, but it also takes away the element of what officials and I'll use baseball for example. I hate the fact they're using this pitching machine. I think that they're thinking about starting to call balls and strike. I hate that. I literally hate that because the human aspect is going out, and I get the fact that technology is there. I get the fact that that's part of the game and it can be part of the game. But I don't think of it, it should be the norm. I think that the human element has to be there. Now, with the new thing, with the baseball guy betting on baseball, that the referee that umpire that got fired. I don't know if you heard that story about the referee getting fired because he was part of a gambling site with his buddy, and evidently it was in his buddy's name, but he was using it anyway to place bets and stuff. There's just so much of the human element that can take away those bad referees, or in this case officials in the NBA. When you go back to what's his nose when he did all that stuff, what was his name? It starts with a D.
Who in the NBA?
Dunleavy, wasn't it? Is that the
guy's
name?
The NBA ref that was the one that was fixing games for the Lakers.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it was specifically the Lakers, but I know he was fixing games.
Yeah, Tim Donaghy.
Donaghy, that's it. I had it wrong. So so Donaghy definitely there. So interestingly enough, when you bring that element into the game, I get it. I get it. Brady, and by the way, Brady was another one that got those calls, and it back in the day, and that's when it became noticeable. But we also, if you go back and look at Joe Montana, he got some nice breaks up on some calls and things of that sort when he was playing for San Francisco. So we're never gonna get away from that story. But like you just said, I almost think of it as a cop out, but at the same time, the suspicion at vital points of the game, that is the first time I actually kind of looked at it and asked the question, could it be really possible? And I think that could be there. I mean, I know you think that. I mean, you've put up a couple of posts that kind of support the idea that you think that might be going on.
100%. And I don't agree with it, but I understand why, this happens. I think what happens, Sonny, is that when the league discovers that you could have a potential dynasty in the making, as what you have with Kansas City, I think they, for marketing purposes, for rating purposes, for entertainment purposes, they're going to do everything they can to kind of hold on to that as long as they can until it no longer exists, or until something happens to where you don't have that anymore. Just like when Tom Brady decided to go to Tampa Bay, well, that dynasty's done, and the Patriots became, the Steve Grogan Patriots again, where they were just horrible. So, But yeah, I think that's what I think that's what we have here, and I have no credentials to lose, so I'm going to speak my mind. But
absolutely, that's why we do it
the league
here.
Has, and that's why the league is holding on to what they have with Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, and to kind of put the cherry on top, or if you like sprinkles on your ice cream. Now you have one of the most one of the most successful, one of the most popular pop stars in the world that is attending these games. She's she's sporting Kansas City Chiefs apparel, the whole 9 yards when it comes to having somebody else outside of football, in the game, Yeah, no, she is. She's not coming with me today. It's true.
Oh, she's so funny. She cracks me up. I love it. But there's that aspect. But I think, and I'll kind of back it up a little bit on what I said a little bit earlier. This is a win-win for everybody in reality. For the NFL, get that you get the dynasty working, the 3 in a row, the big story and everything else. But you also, on the other hand, if the Eagles can figure out how to pull it off, they stopped the 3-peat. I mean, there's so many other great stories that are going to come from this game, especially if the Eagles can figure out how to win.
How great of a story would that be, though? How great of a story would that be?
I think it would be great. I think it would be great.
I think that storyline would be better than the 3-peat itself, because now you have these two teams that that you really got to look at it and say, okay, what's next? Like that's if the league was smart, not to fix the game for the Eagles, but hey, let's tone it down with the favoring of Kansas City. I don't care what anybody says. I know we have a new potential guest on the show that is a Kansas City Chiefs fan, but I'm gonna call it like it is, and it's no offense to what's his name, Mike. I don't know the guy, but but at the same time, it's like if you really, just kind of like in wrestling, right? If the storyline is always the same, people are going to tune out. That's why people like my wife are not going to watch today, because it's the same story over and over and over. At some point, the league's got to say, well, let's change it up. Imagine tomorrow the storyline is Eagles stop the 3-peat, and we still don't have a 3-peat in the NFL. And now the Philadelphia Eagles, are they the new dynasty in them? It's going to get people interested again. For the ones that are boycotting the game today, the ones that are the conspiracy theorists like myself, they favor Kansas City, in critical moments of games, in critical calls.
By the way, I'm glad that you clarified that in critical points of the game, more so than just an overall blanket statement. I think it clarifying.
Well, because Sonny, that could be in the first quarter. That could be in the first quarter. Did he cross the pylon? Did he cross the goal line? Yes or no? That could be the difference come fourth quarter or at the end of the half. Was that a penalty? Oh, now Kansas City's in field goal range, and you're going to give them another 3 points. And the guy that would have had the square had they not kicked the field goal, now he lost and some other guy won it. I mean, all joking aside though, but that's what happens in especially on Super Sunday.
Yep, absolutely. It is a game where you see a lot of things that happen, and as far as what's going to happen from game to game, from year to year. And I think, interestingly enough, today's game has an opportunity to change and take all that out of it. And would it be in the best interest of the NFL to, I guess, let the Eagles win? I say let the Eagles win. I agree. I think the bigger story on the other side of that is the Eagles. Well, not only that, the Eagles have won. This would be their second victory within 4 years too. So there's a lot to talk about as far as that. And what does this start the dynasty of the Eagles moving forward, and more in the facts. So interesting.
Well, let me just say this, Sonny. I think if the league tries to compensate for all the backlash that they're getting from people about favoring Kansas City by turning around and heavily favoring the Eagles, let's say Kansas City gets called for 12 penalties today and the Eagles get 1. That doesn't fix the problem. You're not fixing
No,
the
and it
problem.
would start,
by doing
and
that.
that's a whole other can of worms as well, because that's all you hear
Exactly,
from
right.
Kansas City.
But I can see that. I can see something like that happen because the league is very reaction. They are very reactive instead of being proactive about, hey, just call the game fair. That's all you
Yeah.
got to do. And whoever
Yep.
wins. And I don't want to hear this. Well, the Chiefs are just better. Really? So when they don't get called for blatant holding call, that makes them better? Or when it's a simultaneous catch, it hits the ground, because the Chiefs are better? I don't want to hear that, man. I don't care. I don't care how offended Chiefs fans get. You're not going to convince me that, it's just because the Chiefs are just that much better. No. They get favored in those moments. Stop kidding yourself.
They seem to get those calls. There's no question. I think today's game, that if they don't call it down the middle, forget the fact that if they do get a call where they're rolling and they get the favoritism to get the win, but if they don't call it down the middle, it's going to get real loud. It's going to get real loud. But then again, but then you got to get to the point to, what do you define as fair, back and forth. So that'll be an interesting point as well. Where does it go? Where is it right now? Is it going to be something that is going to be so blatant, or are they actually going to call it down the middle? And that's another part of the story that we got to watch in this game. Is it going to be called down the middle? How does it play out, and things of that sort? And believe me, as much as we're talking about a Cuervo, Roger Goodell, the head of officials, and everybody, they've been in hour-long meetings, hours and hours and hours of meetings. And I don't think, in other words, I don't think the NFL is blind to what people are talking about. Whether or not they'll turn the blind eye to it, that's a different story. And now just depend upon if there is an agenda out there, and whether or not they'll worry about it or not. And that's the big, if they worry about it. If it's worried about it, it'll be something that they'll have to really address and get into it. But if it's not, they can care less, and they just say, hey, we had meetings about it, to say they had meetings about it.
Right, and then that's going to be their justification, right? Well, we thoroughly talked with the crew, and we gave them strict instructions to call a fair game, and this and that. Do you think that's going to stop from what could potentially happen? You think that's going to stop it? No, it's not. You know what's going to stop it? When this stops getting involved. That's when it's going to stop. And it's never going to happen. Because sports betting is so big in this country, Sonny. It's so big, and it's such an influence on what happens in sport, not just in football. It happens in basketball. No. It happens in baseball. It happens in soccer. It happens in everything, every sport. It happens.
Yep. It's one of those things. Just never get away. All right, back to the game. Let's talk about what you think happens in this one, and let's get your pick for the Super Bowl here today.
All right. It looks like I got 12 minutes before we're off.
Is that enough time?
Plenty of time.
Oh, okay. I mean, because I don't mind going over. I never mind going over unless I have to walk out the door. So yeah, I know.
We got a couple of errands to do, so I kind of do need to get out of here whenever the top of the hour hits.
All right, very good.
So,
is that fire alarm? Fire alarm going off in Cuervo's house. Some cooking going on over there. So, as we wait until the noise goes away, I want him to also keep in mind there is, what was something for him to think about. Was Lamar Jackson snubbed with the or Josh Allen pick for MVP? I think that's I don't know if he's froze or not. Jeez, hopefully the house is not burning down over there because he looks like he's froze there. So, I hope if he's hearing me, we'll have a Josh Allen discussion as well. I will go ahead and I will pop him off until I see him move down. Yeah, he switched his thing there. So, by the way, also, again, 16 years here. There he is. He's back and he's ready to roll. All right. So what do you got in that as far as the game is concerned? And if you have a moment or want to talk about maybe Lamar Jackson getting snubbed for the MVP. So let's start with the Super Bowl.
Okay. Well, Lamar didn't get snubbed, but back to the game. Look, obviously these teams met 2 years ago. There's no secret to that, right? Here's the difference, though. I think there's different dynamics today, Sonny. It's I mean,
is it Kellen Moore?
2 years ago was 2 years ago. Yeah, actually, that's part of it. But I think the two biggest things, though, that are different this time is Saquon Barkley and actually Vic Fangio, the defensive coordinator for the Eagles. Those to me are the two biggest differences. And I think Kellen Moore can be a difference because I think there were times in that game 2 years ago when, you kind of scratch your head as an Eagles fan, like, what were you doing calling that play? And so I really think that it's going to be a different game today. I do fully expect the Eagles to be a little more aggressive on defense. I think Fangio, he's been in these games before. He's been in these moments before.
This is nothing new for him. Mm-hmm.
Nothing new for him. And I really think that Kellen Moore can really I don't think, not that he needs to really sell himself anymore, because he's more than likely going to be the next head coach of the New Orleans Saints. But being in New Orleans,
he's probably hopping the plane right after the game. He's taking that red eye. Well, actually, just drive across town.
You don't need to hop on a plane.
I forgot they're in New Orleans.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I think the coordinators really are going to be a difference maker in today's game compared to 2 years ago. I really do.
I agree.
In Philly's favor.
So, that being said, do you have the Eagles in this game? In case you can hear me, you're a little couple of
Phillies seconds. Win the Super Bowl. The Eagles win the World Series, Sonny.
So that's your pick. You're actually going the Eagles in this game? Yeah, he's a little behind, I think.
Am I good now, Sonny, or am I still on the delay?
Yeah, you're still on a delay. You're still kind of wait, hold on. Say something. Yeah.
Something.
Probably gonna have to re-kick.
I'll come back.
So, yeah, he'll come back. Yeah, very good. So we'll get him back here. Sometime it's his internet, and we all know that. So hopefully we'll get him back here in a couple more minutes because he has to bail. So 16 years on the Couch Potato Sports Show. Excited about that. A nuance here. Yes, not that we ever got the notoriety of Mike and Mike, but we've been on longer than Mike and Mike that has been on air. They did 15 years. We are in our 16th year. So excited about that. Moving forward. Also, when we go to the off season, the Couch Potato Sports Show hours when we're going to be on air will jump around. We'll be on probably 9 to noon a lot. We'll also maybe even do a 12 to 3. We might even do a Friday show in case that I get a booking on a Sunday. So this is the time of the year where things change and going in. Let's see here. I'm not sure what that is. Cheap views on. I don't know what that means, but okay. Anyway, so keep your eye out for that as we go into the next couple of months. Obviously, we'll be taking a look at the draft. We're not going to do a live draft anymore. We're just going to go and do a beforehand, then get off air, let the draft happen. Then we'll catch it the next week or a couple of days, depending on everybody's schedule. By the way, just to let everybody know, the reason why this show works, okay, it's because of participation. We got participation all over with a lot of people. We might even bring in another guy who's his name is Matt. Might bring him in to talk about other sports as well. And this is when we dive into other sports. Now, granted, we will still stay up on the NFL, talking NFL here in the off season, but this is when we open the doors a little bit to be able to talk, whether it's Major League Baseball, the NBA, or whatever that we want to actually do in order to bring him in. And I see he popped in, but I don't see his screen. So we'll wait for, maybe if I bring that screen, we'll be there. Okay, so he's on there. Maybe I'll bring him in. So be ready for that when we do that. And there he is. How you doing? Speak. Can you hear me? Okay, all right. So not too far behind. All right, so that's not too bad. All right, cool. All right, so back to what you were talking about, as far as the game is concerned. So are you on the Eagles then in this one?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm still going to go with Kansas City, Sonny, because despite all the differences that I think could really make it be in favor of the Eagles, at the end of the day, it's like what I said, just a little while ago. I don't think there's any way with the league, with the way that the league is today, with the money that's being generated, with the success that the Kansas City Chiefs are having, there's no way that they're going to deny this three-peat from happening. The league wants it. Obviously, the Chiefs want it. Sports bettors, a lot of them probably want it too. And personally, I don't really care for the Chiefs. Like I've said, and like a lot of people say, I think they get favored. But you know what? I'm going to take advantage of the situation. I'm going to throw some money at Kansas City and cash in. That's the bottom line.
1.5 is the line, right? Isn't it? Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's either 1 or 1.5, depending on what site you use. But yeah, I'm gonna make it very clear. There's no way the league is going to deny this from happening. So, Kansas City's going to win. Mahomes is going to repeat. Everybody's going to be happy. They're going to be rolling around in dough, and that's just what it's going to be. And before you know it, the Tennessee Titans are going to be on the clock.
Yep. Now, that also being said, that I am on the Philadelphia Eagles, and so whoever wins today, I'll win the playoff or you'll win the playoffs, which is what it should be. We're the hosts of the show. We should win. One of us should win the damn thing. So that will end up happening if that's who you actually click. I did click Eagles. So whoever wins that one will win the whole thing. By the way, I love the confidence points, but I don't want to do the confidence points during the season. It's hard enough to pick the damn winner.
Too much.
Find anything. It's just it's just way too hard.
Sonny, I like the way you do it now. When it's just picks in the regular season, come playoff time, you do confidence points. Because as you can see, who's on top. That's when you know who the real pick'em guy is. And when it matters most, this guy's on top.
Well, hopefully by the end of the game, I will be on top. You're right. One of the two of us are going to end up winning it. So I'm hoping for that point.
Because if the Eagles win, then you're gonna wind up getting your points. Yep. But if the Chiefs win, I get my points. So. There you go.
I had picked the Eagles. I think I tried to pick it from a game aspect more so than will the Chiefs get the calls or stuff like that. I think the Philadelphia Eagles defense is enough to stop them if they don't get the calls. Their defense is better. I love Spags, by the way. I wanted him as a Jaguars head coach. Okay, I love Spags, but I think the better talent on the defensive side of the ball is coming from Philadelphia. It's whether or not that they'll be able to exploit it as far as that is concerned. And also, as far as that is concerned, they also get a guy off of the injury list. So that's going to be popping back up there. So that is huge too. A guy on the defense, what's his name? His name's slipping my mind.
Brandon Graham.
Graham's
Graham.
back. Yeah, so, and that's huge, by the way. Now, I hope he's really 100% not able, but he just wants to play in the Super Bowl kind of thing. I hope that that's not the situation. I hope he's 100% and really ready to play. So, just so he can say I was in the Super Bowl. Whether he wins or not, that's irrelevant at that point too. But that's where we are, and at the top of the hour. So you're going to a party. So are you going to have some adult beverages and a lot of extra food? I'm going to have food. I got some food.
Oh yeah. So it's one of the guys I work with. It's a coworker. He invited me to his place. Him and his wife are gonna cook up some stuff. So what's on the menu is gonna be some. They're not Eagle fans, by the way. But they are gonna make Philly cheese. They are gonna make Philly cheesesteaks.
Wow, there you go.
Gonna have some pigs in a blanket.
Ooh, I
ordered some wings from the local. I ordered wings from the local wing store. Restaurant, and I think that's it for food, aside from like chips and whatever. Then as far as adult beverages, I'll probably have one early because we do have work tomorrow, so I don't want to indulge too much because the worst thing that I can't do it's hangovers at work. I just don't want to deal with it.
I hate hangovers.
I don't want to
in
deal
the
with
first place, but add on work on top of it just makes it worse.
Yeah, I don't want to feel like crap at work. I got to be able to focus. I got to focus, but I mean, I don't mind if I have a hangover and I got nothing to do on the it's a Saturday or whatever. But yeah, if I got work the next day, nope, I'm not even gonna risk it. So. But
by the way, you got any trips planned at a time that you got set on the calendar? Where you're going? Any place?
Yes.
You're not going to tell me. I could just tell by the way he answered that he's not going to tell me.
Yeah, no. So next weekend we're gonna go to the place we all love, where you and I met, Sonny.
So green. I'm just so green. I've been there. I was there last year, but I was only there for 2 days. I wish I was there for 3. Wish I could have got more trash than I did. All that. I just say, I'm so green. And a friend of mine's going in March. A friend of mine's going to go in March with. I have to make their trip and plan the trip for them, where to stay and stuff like that. By the way, March Madness, man, it kills you on the rates for the hotel room. They're $40 to $50 more a night because of March Madness. It's just a killer. You used to be able
I know.
Now they're for about $40.
Oh, could you imagine this weekend?
Oh, I can't. No, I can't.
Could you imagine what they were like this weekend?
It's I can't even imagine those rooms what they are. So yeah, kind of crazy. So all right, my man, top of the hour. You need to stop and get the wings. You gotta get going. Do appreciate you stopping in. Of course, our anniversary. Love what we're doing. 16 years now. Keep it going. Who knows how long we'll do it until I kick the bucket, maybe. I enjoy it too much. So there you go. So
yeah,
all right. So anything else before we're out of here?
Let's keep this going as long as we can. Yeah, let's keep this thing going as long as we can, Sonny. It's been another great season. Obviously the off season, like you said, is we get on when we can. It's a lot of smorgasbord talk about a little bit about everything. Which, hey, who doesn't like a good smorgasbord every now and then?
Absolutely.
But,
wait, by the way, what do you think of that umpire getting real quick on that? The umpire in Major League Baseball getting busted for the betting on baseball.
I haven't read too much into it, but I mean, if he's betting on baseball and he's influencing games, I mean, he should never ump another game.
Now, do you think it matters if he bet on the games that he was in compared to not? I don't care about the games that he wasn't involved with, but I mean, betting on that's bad enough, based upon what you do. But I think it's even worse if you bet on the games that you're actually participating in.
Yeah, that's always the worst case scenario, right? But I mean, look, the umpire community, I'm sure they know each other very well, and they could have influence on games that even they're not umping because, that's just money talks. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I was going to say something else too. Oh yeah, I sorry for being so late tonight. I was actually, honest truth, I was up till 3 a.m. doing homework. I was working on a midterm paper that I had to write. So yeah, because I know myself, if I didn't get it done last night, with today being what it is, and it's due tonight, I knew I wasn't going to come home and get it done.
By the way, tell that teacher to get his head out of his ass or her ass or whatever the case may be. Don't be assigning shit on Super Bowl Sunday. That's just wrong. So she needs to change her method.
No, you're
That's
right.
Almost like having your wedding on Super Bowl Sunday. That's just stupid.
That's very true. Unless the bride and groom are a fan. Could you imagine getting married on the day your favorite team is playing in the Super Bowl? Wouldn't that be something?
That alone, yeah. And then, why aren't we having? If you want to save money, have it on the Super Bowl Sunday because people aren't coming.
Right.
Man, how do we save money? Wow, we had throw it on Super Bowl Sunday. We'll probably save a lot of money in catering. So, yeah, something like that. Yeah, I can't. That's just dumb. All right, my man. Hope you have a good day. Be safe out there on the road. Get those wings and enjoy the game. And if and when we get time, we'll talk about it later on.
For sure. Yeah, we'll have to do it within the next week or two.
Sounds like a plan. Because there'll be news that'll be going on right afterwards, so there'll be plenty to talk about, I'm sure. All right, everybody, take care. Happy anniversary. Thanks for being a part of the show. Everybody take care. Let's go Eagle. You know what? I'm going to end it. You didn't see this, Cuervo. Here's a minute and 2-second thing that you need to see.
Everybody knows that Jason is the better Kelsey. We're sending Patrick back home. Nothing you could tell me about to strangle us a goat. Let them know swift tears to their eyes. Make them cry while we hit the celly. Big Red, you know we love you in this town, but nobody wants to see you win again. Your time's up. This is the end. Now it's time for revenge. Thought that you would never see us here again. Yeah, now what? 2 years, but it's feeling like it took forever. Saquon better than all your backs put together. We're not in Kansas anymore. Juju's washed up. Hollywood can't score. Travis O, get that man a break. Put in Noah Gray. CJ, GJ, about to introduce him to the floor. AJ, gon' hit you with a tug. You ain't worthy of a game against us. BG coming back for a sack. Lay Mahomes on his back. Walk off with the dub. No sweat, we can read everything you call. Jalen Carter sack. Zach Vaughn get the ball. Philly versus everybody, us against y'all. The best thing about an empire is when they fall. Kermit stop crying, always looking at the refs. Defense wins chips, and you know we got the best. Tried to hold it in, I had to get it off my chest. Say it with me, EAGLES, go Bird.